Hey, everybody. How's everybody been? Welcome on back. I'm getting it ready. I'm scrubbing up, brushing my teeth, getting me some damn coffee, because everybody needs some coffee. Eat you a good breakfast, because this thing's about to hit. Hello!
Hey,
How the fuck are you guys? All three of you so far. 10 minutes, and it'll be a full chat. Thanks for coming by. Mage, how have you? How have you been? How are you? I would say,
uh,
how are you? And I said, how have you instead? How are you?
dealing with arthritis, so I'm basically a lump on a chair.
Yeah. I, knock on wood. That's actually wood too. It's weird, I know. Um, I am really lucky with stuff like that. Like I know I have to do something about this soon. I have hip pain because my left leg is so much extremely shorter than my right. Um, that when I walk, my left side drops down like this, so my right hip starts hurting. Um,
Yeah, I actually
I
have.
normally correct it with an extra insole in the left side. If I put just like those double air pillow cushions, one or two of those, depending. I think two is actually kind of perfect. But it feels weird to me because then I walk level and then I scuff my right
Yeah,
foot all the time,
yeah, yeah,
or my left foot. My
yeah.
left foot.
Since I had the strokes, that affected my left side, so I tended
Yeah.
to put my weight on my right side, and I think that may have contributed to the scoliosis I have and back pain I have.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's really like people don't understand how important it is for your hips to be level. And that's why every day I come home, my hips are fucking killing me because I walk on hard floors all day. I walk on fucking cement or tile all fucking day long. That's all. It's a hospital. That's all there is.
Yeah, and in
Right.
fact,
So,
it even stunted the growth on my left foot. It's actually slightly smaller than the right.
huh.
So when
That's interesting.
I went to this specialty dress shoe place and actually got dress shoes where was like the one shoes is like one half a size smaller than the other, or a quarter size or
Right.
something like that. Like a really specialty kind of thing, so it would fit exactly. That was always a problem I had with dress shoes. You have to get them to fit perfectly for them to really work, and I could never do that because the 2 feet are slightly different.
Aim your camera down, lady. You're all the way at the bottom. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
There she is. I can see her now. So I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. 401, Mark, Crystal, Dave, Mr. Desk. Purple. I think I gave you a link, Purple, if you're feeling up to it. I don't know how you've been feeling with coming off of COVID.
Oh no.
And
Fourth time.
Nerdy and Stool. I have a stool in the
Stool?
chat. Do you know how privileged I
Oh,
feel right now? It's not very often when you have a stool in your chat.
Hello, Stool. Long time no chat.
I don't know. She's not a mod in my channel. Ow. What's up, buddy? So first I want to start with Mama Deb. How are you? What's going on, lady?
I'm actually cold as hell. It is cold here, but not as cold as where you're at because we're still getting just rain, not snow.
No.
But
Yeah.
I did a thing this week, so proud of me, and you'll understand why because I am sorry I have to reach down my shirt. My phone fell out of my bra, went into my shirt.
what else you keep down there?
Women look,
a whole lot of
women keep
booby.
so much shit in their bras. You guys have no idea. Like
I
if
keep
you
a whole
don't
lot of
know,
booby in
I'm
there.
telling you. They
I
keep all
actually
kind. They'll keep money in there, credit
Mhm.
cards. Some pull a fucking baby bottle out. I've seen that before. Like literally, this woman had a baby with her, and she was large chested, and she had a baby diaper bag, but it was one of the smaller ones. And she pulled the bottle out from between her boobs, and I just looked at her, and she goes, "Keeps it warm."
No, so I want
Anyway,
I figured out how to put a background on my TikToks this week, which is new for me. I've not known how to do that. So I did a
Look at
live
y'all
with the
fancy.
background, so nobody has to look at my bedroom anymore. They can look at me on a beach, even though I'm in Oregon, you know. But yeah, I started my Christmas shopping, did a lot of TikToking, you know. But that's kind of how I grow things. Mr. Kyle told me I need to start doing more TikToks a week. So I'm trying that out and see how it goes. But other than that, good.
Stool wants to know if there's any sandwiches down there because Stool's always hungry.
No, but there's some crumbs. It's always crumbs. I'm very chesty.
Well, that was a good one, Deb.
I'm very,
that
very
was
chesty.
fucking
So
beautiful. That was hilarious. Al, how you doing,
Hey,
buddy?
is my microphone on now?
You sound perfect.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I tried to say hi, but it didn't work very well.
No, I think you said hi, but we just talked over you because I was trying to. I had let Deb in and not said hi to her yet, so I was trying to go.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I
And if
thought
you both popped in
thought
at
my
once,
mic
I
was
would
off.
Oh no, I think you're fine. I don't know. It might have been. It might have
Hey.
been.
I think it
So how
was.
are
I
you?
think it was off, but I'm all right. I'm all right. Things are a little crazy around my house, but
So you're
I saw your
alive.
lovely invite, and I'm live.
You're
I'm alive. I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm alive. I'm alive, and I guess
You
I
and
should
your
be
family
thankful
are
for
alive.
that.
So it's crazy, right?
So far, my yeah, we're having an interesting weekend, but I'm hoping things are going to get better. It's
fingers crossed for you.
yeah,
Man.
no, I'm gonna be okay. I hope. I'm going to not do a lot of talking right now because I'm trying to cook dinner. But I wanted to say hi because I saw you invite me to come and say hello.
Well, hello.
Okay, well, talk as much as you want. Hang out in the background if you want, and just sit there. It's cool, man.
That's what I'm gonna do. My kids are calling for me, so I'll keep listening.
Okay. Sounds good, buddy.
Hey,
Pipe in
Beck.
whenever you want. Yes, ma'am.
Purple says she wants cleavage. Can I flash her some cleavage? Right there in the chat. Says, okay, I was just asking. That's why I asked.
Can't do that. Send her a picture on fucking Twitter. You're attached to her now.
Oh, no, I don't do Twitter. I don't do Twitter. Twitter's nasty. It's evil, and I don't do Twitter.
Didn't I add you into the Twitter group?
Oh, in that group. That's the only group I do. That's the only one.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't go to the feed. I just use it for the DMs. Fuck the feed. Okay. It's full of crap and hatred and all kinds of bullshit.
Okay, Purple, I'll send you some cleavage over that.
Hello.
So
how are you?
Good. How's everybody doing?
If I was any better, I'd be, I don't know, mage.
Yeah, so I can't resist an Eileen joke there, Beck, with your leg issues there.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that?
What do you call Beck with one leg shorter than the other? Eileen.
Look, dude, you're gonna die when you hear this. Are you guys ready? Everybody listen. My mom's name was Eileen. And everybody pronounced it wrong. They'd say Aileen or Arlene. And she'd say, no. And she'd lean on the wall and go like, Eileen. So that is fucking hilarious to me that you just called me my mom's name and didn't even know that story. She did it my entire life. I remember her doing that. No, like Eileen. And she'd lean against the wall or whatever was there.
Hey, that's better than people speaking.
Yes, Crystal, that was my mom's song, and my mom loved to dance.
Yeah. And I remember that song.
So
I was in high school, and they always said, you got to have chaperones for the big dances in high school. Well, my mom always offered because she got to dance with all the kids, and everybody loved my mom. Like my friends would be around my mom dancing and going, "Go, Miss Madsen, go, Miss Madsen," and I'm standing over there to the side, and they forgot I even exist. Like they hung out with my mom because my mom was that fucking cool. We got in a car accident. She broke her arm. She had a cast on her arm, and she still went out there with everybody and danced. She just held her arm in the air so it wouldn't hurt.
Okay, say hi. Say hi.
Still danced her ass off with all my friends. We did a lockdown. Like my mom was a trip. So, but the school dances, I knew the DJ because my best friend was his little sister.
Is he back? There's
So I would be like, Jeff,
There's
play
back.
Come On Eileen for my mom. He's like, I got you, bro. You know? And he'd play it. And she'd be like, oh, that's my song. And she'd run out of the dance floor.
Got to get that groove on.
Yeah, she had to get. Oh, my mom loved to dance. She was big on dancing.
Rizzo wanted to say hi, Beck.
Hi, Rizzo.
He got
Hi,
a new
good
jacket
boy.
today.
I
He's all
like
excited.
that nice new jacket. It looks very handsome on him.
Yes, it does. Now go play, okay? Go chase the squirrels, buddy. Go chase the squirrels.
Mark, everybody knows my last name because my dumb brother has it, ex-brother has it on his channel. So I'm not doxing
Oh,
shit.
you want back? Back up.
And good luck finding me. Look in Chicago under Madsen. If you guys don't know, there's a shit ton of Madsens in Chicago. That's where my dad's family first went to. Him, his great grandfather, and all of his brothers and sisters and shit all came over, and they all changed their name to my last name. And so if you go just look up my last name, Chicago, and you'll see car dealerships and laundromats and just fucking name it. All kinds of weird shit.
Hey, Beck,
Yes,
did you
thank
see
you,
how high Kyle says he is?
How
Kyle
high
says
is
he's
he?
as high as giraffe nuts. He must be very high.
High as giraffe nuts. Wait a minute,
That's pretty
adult or
fucking high.
baby giraffe? An old or young adult?
Even a baby giraffe's taller than we are, so you know.
Well, but I'm saying if it's a really old giraffe and he's very tall, they might be lower than you think.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I had to follow that.
I've been calling my pup Curly Q lately. He's he looks like a chocolate lab, and it's definitely chocolate labs. Got the eyes, the nose, and everything. But the fur's getting a little thicker and a little curl in there, and we're wondering what the mutt mix is gonna
Nice.
show as. So I've been calling him Curly Joe lately.
Rizzo is actually he's a min pin, but he's a purebred min pin. Problem being is a little effer can't see very well, so he could never be showed. That's how he became my emotional support dog. Is that they got rid of him because they paid big money for him, but couldn't see him. So you couldn't see in the dark very well, or when it's low light. So he came to live with me and has become my emotional support dog.
I've had
When he's
I've
not
had a
busy
bunch.
fighting
Needy
the
little
shit out of me while I
asshole.
scare him.
He's a
Yeah,
needy little asshole and he does shit wrong. But when she's upset, he is fucking like on top of her, making sure she's okay. So she deals with the other bullshit. Because the emotional support shit he does really well.
I've had a bunch of black labs, and we lost one recently. Last spring now, and so we were looking for a new puppy, and they didn't have black labs, but the shelter sent a message out, hey, we've got a litter of chocolates. So we got a chocolate this time.
You know what though? I'm sorry that you lost a lab, because I know, like, when I lost my previous dogs, it was so painful because they're my family. You know, they're part of my family. I'm sorry for your loss.
He just couldn't get up one day. We took him in and he said, well, everything looks good on the vitals. He took an x-ray and he had lung cancer.
Ooh.
And there's just no way to care for a dog that weighs 80 pounds. You know, I mean, I hurt myself trying to get him back up the back steps. You know, I mean, it's just, he didn't come home that day. You know, it was the best thing to do.
I was thinking.
I had a German Shepherd growing up who had, it was right when they started like really fucking with German Shepherds and their hips started getting worse. Although mine was purebred, so there is some natural part to that with German Shepherds, just the way their bodies are built. But when they inbreed them and change shit, and so they can get that perfect look for the dog show, they fuck their hips up. Anyways, so German Shepherds in general have bad hips. So ours growing up, she was a small German Shepherd. She was about 70 pounds, 73 pounds in there. And I remember her hips starting to go bad, and she'd wake up in the morning and she would sleep on the cold floor and she couldn't fucking stand up. And I'd have to pick her up and take her outside so she would pee, because she'd whine like, I gotta go. Like, help me out here. So, but as a teenager, when I was 17 and 18, until the dog, we actually ended up putting her down because she was so bad. She couldn't She couldn't fucking see shit anymore. She could hear everything still.
The vet
But
said
she
with
couldn't
ours,
walk,
he
so
was
we-
just
Yeah, we had to put her
Yeah,
down.
he-
But
he was
carrying her
just
in and out
being-
of the house over and over
Yeah.
again was a lot.
he
Yeah,
said
for sure.
ours was just doing the alpha thing. It wasn't showing it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Oh yeah, I'm tough.
And I'll give it to him. We had to carry him to the car, but when he got to the vet, I think he knew, because he walked in the vet, and his last step was when he got into the exam room and he just flopped back down on the floor.
oh.
So he was
Yeah.
alpha to the end. He was
Yeah, I was thinking about with Molly, if she ever gets to the point where she can't really walk too well, I got that gorilla cart. I'm gonna stick her in the gorilla cart and just wheel her around on the neighborhood in that.
There you go.
but
I
he,
had that,
he,
Everybody
he
does.
couldn't
You know,
he
you
couldn't
can
breathe.
also
You know,
you
he
can
was
also
he was
have
he was
oh,
doing
hold on.
all he can just to get any air, you know.
Oh.
It was just
You did the humane thing. You did the right thing.
there was just no way. He was and he was, you know, he was proud. He was alpha to the end, you know, and the honorable thing is not to, you know, let him suffer another moment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I had to put my I had a purebred poodle who was the most intuitive dog I've ever seen in my life. But he had a stroke, and I ended up having to put him down because he was paralyzed on one side, and I wouldn't do that to him because he was such a wonderful runny around, be all about the kids. Like, he literally would herd my kids away from the street when he was walking with them. I mean, he was just a great animal. So I put him down, and man, that was the hardest thing I've done next to losing, you know, other family members. It was so hard to put him down,
I had to do that.
but it was
I
the
had
right
put
thing to
down-
do.
I had to put down a cat once. That was hard. It started out, it was actually my mom's cat, and then I took over after my mom died, and taking
okay.
care of the. So that was really hard. And I had my cockatiel. My cockatiel had like a stroke and became paralyzed in one of her wings just before she
Oh.
died. She had an eye infection, and she had like a secondary infection, and that we had to get rid of first before we can get rid of the eye infection. It was like the whole month-long thing. Every 2 or 3 times a day, I'm giving her medication, and I was exhausted, having to go back and forth to the doctors. And it just kept getting worse and worse, and then near the end, and she, I took her out one morning, and her wing was just limp, and like, oh, I can't. I'm gonna have to call the next day and put her down. But she died that day.
That's
Yeah,
the
it
toughest
is-
part of having pets, you know.
It's hard to do, but it's the right thing, which always makes me wonder, you guys, like, it's humane to put an animal down, but it's not humane to let a human do that to themselves, or for family to do that. Like, I live in Oregon, so Oregon, we have the
it's
right
legal
to die.
here.
Yeah, I have the right to die state.
Mhm.
It is the right to die state. You can actually choose, if you're terminally ill, you can choose to take your own life via medication, which I
Well,
firmly
hold on.
believe in. But
Let me throw in an addendum.
yes.
But it is with a medical doctor who is
Yes.
trained in that. No one
Yes.
else can fuck with you.
No.
You set up with the doctor. You talk about the plan ahead of time.
Yes.
You set everything up how you want it. Have one of your family members help facilitate for family. Like one of my ex's patients did it, and she went there. She couldn't be in the room with him because she's a PA.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
she wasn't allowed to be in the room with him while they were putting him, like knocking him, killing him, basically. But she walked in right afterwards, right as soon as he was dead. She was allowed to go in. They had a big party before for like 3 or 4 hours. They invited everybody he's ever fucking met or cared about in his life. There was like 500 people there. It was this huge party. He was dancing with everybody, and then he was like, "All right, it's time. Let's do it."
Yeah.
And he went in the other room with his wife, and the doctor gave him the medicine, and Heather went in afterwards and gave, his wife support and stuff, but they had talked about it for months. He had Lewy body disease. There was no way out of it. And so the medical director automatically said, absolutely, you're allowed to do it. Because if you have a terminal illness and there's no way back, that's
here in Oregon.
There's no
here
fighting.
In Oregon, I'm sorry, Beck. I'm sorry. My apologies.
No,
here in Oregon, you could actually give it to yourself, but you have to qualify, or a family member can give it to you. That's the good thing about it. Because I think that when it first came out, when the first thoughts of this started coming out, I was in the healthcare industry, and it was really hard to think, okay, you're going to put this on this nurse, because it wasn't going to be the doctors. Let's be honest. It wasn't going to be the doctors who gave the injection. It was going to be the nurses. The nurses would give this injection. And that's something that I think as healthcare providers, you have to address this issue. Do you believe the way that that person believes? Because like I've worked with
I don't
and
think nurses should be doing that at all.
no,
That should be
they
on the
absolutely
doctor.
do.
And here
It is
it
the
has to
nurses.
be an MD. You have to be an
Oh,
MD
here
or
it has.
DO to
It's
do
a
it here.
nurse. A doctor will write the order. A doctor
That's
will
fucked up,
facilitate it,
man.
but a nurse actually gives the injections because doctors do not give injections. They
That
do not
is
give
not
IV
okay
meds.
because that was that doctor's decision to say yes to
But it was
providing that for that person.
it was the person who is dying's decision to do that, and I believe in dying with dignity. That's my personal
Absolutely.
thing. But
It's
some
it's
people-
420.
Oh, 420.
My friend's grandfather actually decided to allow himself to die. They don't really have the die with dignity thing here, but apparently I'm not exactly sure of all the ins and outs of the reason why he decided. But he was basically in a situation where he was going to be progressively declining. He already had lost a leg from diabetes, and they put him on the wrong drugs that if he had to like stay on them to stay alive. Because they fucked up the medication, and he decided, okay, I'm just gonna stop taking this stuff altogether and just let myself, die. And that's what he did. So he went out on his own terms.
My grandpa did the same thing, Mage. He literally, very active man his entire life. He was old school. He was 97 when he died, and he died almost 8 years ago. But his legs wouldn't work anymore. He had a mini stroke, and then he had a stroke, and he couldn't walk anymore. And he said, he literally looked at us and said, I'm fucking done. And he used the F word, bless that man's heart, but he said, I'm fucking done. And my dad had a really hard time with it. He's like, you can't give up, Dad. You can't give up. And I had to talk to him. I said, Dad, Grandpa's done. He doesn't want to be here anymore. He doesn't want to live the life that you're asking him to live. You need to let him go, let him be in peace, and let him live his life the way he lived his life, which is all for everything, right? And it was really hard for my dad. I mean, it was easy for me, but it was really hard for my dad. And I think that's something that people have to take into consideration when they're talking about the death with dignity or dying with dignity. You have to take into a lot of considerations about a lot of things, like your healthcare provider's religion might play a huge part in it. And, I
never thought about that. Mine's Indian. I wonder what that would be like.
I ran a memory care unit. I ran an assisted living, so I dealt with this a lot. A lot of Muslim people, and I'm not saying all. I don't know anything other than what I know about this particular person and their beliefs when they were Muslim. They didn't believe in hospice care, whereas we believe in hospice care here in the United States. She just could not give morphine to hospice patients because she knew exactly what was going to happen. We're going to give morphine until the point that they stop breathing and they can pass peacefully. She just could not do it because she could not go against her religion. Therefore, she could not work in my med room because she was unable to fulfill what she needed to do for her hospice patients.
Yeah.
But it's something we have to consider because that's a huge weight on the healthcare provider to do these things. It's a huge weight. I personally believe that you can, any way you want to go, you can go. I'm down with whatever you want to do, as long as you are terminal. I don't believe in assisting people with mental illness who just have mental illness and are just done and committing suicide. I don't believe in that. I believe in helping. I believe in doing everything we can before they exercise that.
Yeah, try and fix it first, and then
yes.
Well, but that's exactly why here you have to go in and talk to a doctor, and the doctor's going to know whether you're lucid or suicidal.
Yeah,
and they're not going to just let you do it if you're suicidal. That's
they try
the
to
point
use
of the doctor being in between you and the drugs.
Yeah,
they try to use that slippery slope argument that if you allow it, then people that are just depressed or something are going to go to the doctor and get it, and it's like no. That's not the argument at all, but that's the slippery slope argument the opponents will use for it.
You're absolutely right. It doesn't hold any weight whatsoever. And this is coming from somebody who's seen both sides of it. Beck will tell you recently in the last couple of years, I think it's like a year ago, actually, I lost my nephew to suicide. 18 years old, 2 weeks post high school graduation. He just had enough. And he had mental illness his whole life. And he just took a bunch of pills and went out in the woods and said, don't bother to find me. And sorry.
Very sorry.
I know it's tough.
They found him hours later and it was too late. But that slippery slope argument does not work because if you're mentally ill and you're done, you're freaking done and you're going to commit suicide, you're going to do it either way. you're going to find a way to do it. When an 18-year-old child, because he wasn't a man, in my opinion, a child can find a way to do it, then there's always going to be a way to do it if you're that bad. But I agree that you have to try to fix it first. Like Mage said, fix it first. And if it's terminal, it's terminal. You have the right to decide whatever you want to do with your body. But
So
I don't
your
buy that
doctor-
slippery slope
Yeah,
argument
your
at all.
doctor, if they're ethical, should recommend you to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Because
And they do. That is actually required here in Oregon. You must be under a psychiatrist's care in order to qualify for dying with dignity or whatever it's called. I never can get the right name, but
death with dignity, I think.
it's absolutely
Dying with
required.
dignity, death with
And it's not
dignity.
even just like, if you have a history of mental illness, it's required a longer period of time. You have to have been under care for so long and what have you. But to be terminal, I mean, you have to take it. All the other considerations also. Something I think about is, do I want to bankrupt my family? And this is me, just me. It's not anybody else. It's just me. I don't want to bankrupt my family. If I'm terminally ill, you let me go. You let me go. You put me out and have a party like Beck said, and let's have some food and let's just be together and be happy. And at the end of it, y'all go home. And the next day, you're going to be planning my funeral. But that is the way I would want to go. I wouldn't want to bankrupt my family and put them be destitute because of it.
Yeah, my grandfather, my friend's grandfather, his funeral actually was quite nice. What he did before he died, he created all these videos, basically kind of like a biography of his life with his families. He's narrating the whole thing, like, oh, here's where we lived when you were 5 years old, and yada kind of stuff. And they had it playing on a loop at his funeral. So when you walk in, you hear his voice, and he's narrating his life story.
How fucking awesome! How fucking awesome!
It was amazing. And this guy was like, he was one of those, nicest guy you could ever meet types,
Oh my God, Mage, you just gave me an idea. When because I'm writing a book, right? So when I finish the book, I'm going to do the voice work myself and read it so I can sell it, as a like audiobook or whatever too. But that would be so cool to play that book during the whole thing. Because then it's not just about me, it's about my whole family and like where they came from and all the shit they went through to get to the point of me being born, and then goes into my siblings and shit. So
what I would want to do when I go? I want to
interesting.
have in my will that they put a tape of me,
Dave!
some speakers in the casket. And then during the funeral, it's like, let me out, let me out.
there's a video that some old Irish sounding gentleman had a thing playing that, and it had cuss words in it and everything, like, hey, you frickers, what are you doing? Oh,
It's dark in here.
Kind of like the movie Toys, where there's Robin Williams, who they're burying the guy. It's like Robin Williams and his like sister, and they're burying their father, and the father was a toy maker, and he has this little laugh thing in the casket. So as they're burying him, he hears ha 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 ha.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh, so I want to tell you guys real quick, because I couldn't get a word in, because you guys were really like, Deb was on fire for a minute, and I didn't want to stop her. Anyway, so I know somebody who told me about her father-in-law. He was really sick. He had cancer. He lived alone. He was like, stage 4, whatever. And they went to go visit and check on him, and they went over to his house. And as they walked in the door, they heard the gunshot. And he walked out and stumbled his ass all the way out into the woods, and he shot himself in the fucking chin. Like, he was done, and nobody was going to help him. So he said, fuck it. And he went and handled it himself. But he had also lived a full life, and he was like 87, and there was no cure. And he was like he was to the point where he was on oxygen, and he needed help taking care of himself. And he was like, fuck no, I'm done. So so sometimes, thanks, Randy. I appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, sometimes we will find a way. When we know it's our time, we will find it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Speaking about Robin Williams, I believe that was part of the reason why he decided to unalive himself, because he was apparently in cognitive decline.
Yeah, he had Lewy body dementia.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. He had Lewy body dementia, and not only the problem with Lewy body is that it not only makes you have dementia symptoms, forgetting things, whatever. The problem is you also forget your filter. You also forget that there are things you shouldn't say. So secrets that
And
he
your body
had
forgets how to work
about
properly.
other things, other people, whatever, those would have been fair game. That's why Lewy body is so hard to deal with when you come to like people who have jobs who are high security or highly classified. If you get Lewy body, it's almost like you have to be done because you're going to say shit you shouldn't say.
It's a career death sentence.
Yes, thank you.
And it is
Yes.
a death sentence.
Yes, yeah.
Sam Kinison did a bit about people just don't know when to die anymore. He said,
Yeah,
I was in the
remember that.
bathroom the one day, and this guy's trying to go to the bathroom. He's like, oh, and he's like, dang, dude. He goes, back in the day, the natives or whatever the culture would be called, they realized one day, pee-pee hurt. Time to die. And they would go up on a mountaintop and they would die.
I don't know why that
I
story just
tried
reminds.
to end myself. I tried to get Nazis to kill me at the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, and they failed.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
go.
glad they did. I happen to like it.
I'm glad they did too. I'm glad they failed.
Oh,
I'm sorry that you were ever in that place in your life that you felt that was the only answer you had. I'm sorry for that.
Best revenge is to outlive your enemies.
I deal with suicidal thoughts all the time, so. But
hey, I almost died from a kidney too. We should talk.
I've learned to tell those thoughts to shut up.
We've had a few short chats about it, but I think yours is in worse shape than mine, so I shouldn't complain.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about the almost dying part. Like, I get it.
Oh yeah.
Like kidneys dying on you will fuck your world up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, having kidney failure is, like it's just. I mean, I'm sure there's other terrible ways to go or to have your body give up on you, but man, it's terrible.
I hope you get your med situation sorted out there too, Al. I saw your video earlier.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, it sounds like it'll just be a bunch of paperwork and technicalities, but and I'm lucky that my doctor and I were like ahead of the curve just enough to like I've got a couple of weeks to figure it out, but like I literally got the last thing they're doing. Like it's in such short supply. Like I just got enough to make it through for a couple of weeks while I figure out what to do next. And then now they're like, this is the new solution.
Yeah, I remember your other video or you were on somebody else's stream, one or the other, talking about the shortages.
There's a lot of shortages in drugs in general, but the shortages for diabetic drugs are really terrible. And because I help in the community as like I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. I'm an advocate for patients. That's what it is. I'm an advocate for patients, particularly those living with obesity and living with diabetes. And so being in that sphere, I talk to more healthcare professionals than just my own. So I meet them at symposiums and seminars and stuff like that other people might not talk to that many at one time. And it's an across the board problem. And they're saying they're going to stop making insulin in the pens so they can use the pens for other medicines because they're so short on pens, and it's just a mess.
Oh,
it's an absolute mess.
My
So
son's type 1.
Al, can I ask really quick? Have you been following the research they've been doing about putting insulin in an aerosol, like an inhaler? Have you looked into this?
I haven't read the papers on it, but I have heard of that method of delivery.
Yes.
And I think there's some room for a lot of different applications for different people living with diabetes, but it's such a varied disease, and there's so many varieties of dosages that people need, especially on the insulin side.
Yes.
That it's great that they have that for some people, but I think like the tried and true ones still are kind of needed.
Oh no, absolutely.
and this is one of the people I work with, and she's in the industry, but she's also a patient, and she's like, they say there's type 1 and type 2, but it's more like 34 types,
Yeah,
and
Yes.
there's sort of ranges because they're there's a lot of commonalities, and you can group them into a couple of groups, but there's a lot of divergence between one patient and another.
yeah,
And,
with my mom, her normal blood sugar was like 200
Jesus,
when she was
Yeah,
normal
so-
at 200. If she
that's
dropped
so
below,
high.
that
if she
does sound
dropped
really
below-
high.
If she dropped below that, she'd start acting really funny.
See, and that's
Yeah.
that's the point that Al's making, is that the human body, everything is so different for each individual. So the way that 6 units may work really good for Al, but 6 units won't look for me or won't work for Major's mom. So you have to really, and that's the thing with varying the different ways that you can give insulin, is you don't know how that person's body is going to accept that form. So it makes it really difficult to. I mean, you still have to advance it. You absolutely have to advance it, because diabetes is one of the most prominent diseases in the United States, if not in the world. So you have to advance the care for diabetics, especially obese diabetics. You have to be really careful, because one contributes to the other, but you can't blame completely 100% you're only diabetic because you're obese. That's not true. Because if you don't treat the diabetes, you're going to hurt the long term of that patient. There's so many things that you can do. I used to weigh 300 pounds. I had gastric bypass surgery. It's the best thing I ever did with myself. I had the sleeve done. I was borderline diabetic. I'm no longer. And it worked for me, but it doesn't work for everybody. You have to, there's so many different tools out there. Each person is different. And so that's why insulin has to be so many different ways, in my opinion, of delivery, because you can't customize. You can't say this is the only way it's going to be, because it's not going to work that way. It just doesn't, not in the human body.
My kid is bionic. He's on the Dexcom pump. So he beeps and he gets the graphs and all the stuff on his phone, and then it can be sent out too. So my wife gets it too. So if something's going on when he's sleeping or something, she can just look at it and stuff. It's pretty neat.
I think my mom was considering one of those little devices that you can hook up and it does it automatically like that.
Yep.
I honestly think that insulin pumps and those Dexcoms, I think they are the greatest thing that ever happened to diabetics. Absolutely.
He doesn't have to prick
his
his finger all the time either, because he's got the other patch, and that scans too.
Yeah.
So he just does a prick once in a while, just to make sure everything's matching up and everything. But otherwise,
Jenny,
I felt so bad. He's just a young man, and poking his finger all the time. I felt so bad, and they said, "Well, they got this thingy,and I'm like, get him that thingy, because man, I just felt so bad for him."
The poking the finger thing sucks.
Yeah, Dave, that's actually the best thing, in my opinion, you can do, especially for a child, because being a child and being a teenager especially is hard enough. And I'm not trying to lessen how hard it is for boys, but for teenage girls, it's especially hard, because we are very much into the way that we look and the way people perceive us. And boys, maybe not so much, because I'm not a boy. I don't know. Y'all could tell me. But
no, boys have that issue too. They just don't admit it.
He likes to wear
just pretend we don't have that
arm. Yeah, he likes to wear it on his arm like a man, because it's better like on your leg or whatever. And he's like, I don't like that, and it looks funny. And I got the so he's like, I put it right here on my arm, like doing the man.
Look at me. This thing pokes me all day long.
Yep,
exactly. That's the best thing they could have done for teenage diabetics, because it's not like I have to go and I have to hide myself and give myself a freaking shot or whatever. I have to hide that I'm a diabetic. No, they can wear it. They can be out there. They can be normalized. And I think
and other people become aware. What is that? Oh, it does my thing, and they're like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and because one of the other problems, like awareness, like Al was saying, is people that have diabetic shock and different things, and people don't realize what's going on in the situation. And it would be awareness that this person needs their shot, they need some sugar, whatever the issue is. That's why they're acting so, however they're acting.
Yeah.
And I think that's I don't know that my history. Like, I'm like a 20+ year paramedic. I'm retired now, but that was the first thing you did first thing you did when you found an unconscious person was you checked their blood sugar, and then you checked them. You gave them Narcan in case they were an overdose. So those two things you absolutely 100% did. And because diabetics act like they out of their damn minds when their sugar gets low.
Oh yes,
They don't know. They
The
don't know.
cops were surrounding some guy in his vehicle one day because he was in the middle of an intersection. Weapons drawn and everything. Here, the poor guy just had a sugar issue. Yeah, because they didn't have the training to know. Yeah,
No, they don't.
My mom would act nuts when she go into with the low blood sugar.
I've been in more wrestling matches with diabetics than I can tell you in my EMS career. I mean, one time we literally were on the floor of a casino trying to hold, because I was a paramedic in Las Vegas, and we were trying to hold this guy down so we could freaking get an IV so we could give him some sugar, and we finally did, thank God. But it's my favorite story because he ended up being like the CEO of Keebler Cookies. My kids didn't need cookies. I didn't buy cookies for like 4 years because he sent us so many, because I'm like, you're a diabetic and you're CEO of a cookie company, but it is.
Well, you can have a cookie. You just can't have too many. That's what I tell my kids.
Or if your blood sugar,
you don't have to do it without. You just have to watch what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's actually something my mom would do. Sometimes she would kind of skip a shot or something if she could have a little extra cake or something on the side. Then or when I was like real little, taking care of the diabetes, because my dad went into was seizures, so he was hallucinating, and my mom would go into a diabetic reaction. I'm like 3 years old, and I did what my dad showed me to do. I basically took a big spoonful of sugar and just shoved it in my mom's mouth, and to swallow it. Because we didn't have the glucose tablets or the gel thing yet. That wasn't out yet. Yeah. That didn't exist yet. So we just did what we had.
And that's the thing, people think they're cheating and getting away with it. That's what causes all the cascading problems with organ failures and damages and everything else, is those fluctuations. And that's why we're always telling the boy, you got to keep that number where it's supposed to be. This is for the long term. This is for when you're older. Okay. You may not be thinking about it now, but long term, it's going to have bad effects on a lot of different things. You got to keep those levels in check.
Yeah,
and
it's
again,
also
have whatever cookie or whatever that'll allow you within your numbers.
Yes.
And then you have to eat, your good stuff too. That's just what you just have to do.
Yeah, it's possible my mom died because of the diabetes too. She may have gotten into a diabetic coma and died in her sleep. That's why I found her.
That's entirely possible. Yeah,
she was in bed. And, it looked like she had gone into a coma by the expression she had, but it's hard to say for sure. The autopsy was inconclusive, basically, so I don't know for sure.
I'm sorry to hear that, Mage. I'm sorry for your loss.
It's very sorry.
The worst part was Mage found her.
Oh, Mage, I'm so sorry, love. I'm so sorry. That's horrible.
So real quick, you guys, everybody pause for a second. Whew, you guys have been on a rampage. Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Fine.
Good. I'm glad you made it today. Thanks for coming.
I'm glad I did too. I screwed the time change up.
Oh.
But I don't care. It's just your show.
That's okay.
You're
welcome at any time. You can leave at any time. You know the deal.
Hey, Miss Jenny. I have a question for you.
Beck didn't want to stomp all over Bree's show today. So
I'm sorry. What did I do, Deb?
I just have a question for you. I was really impressed that you knew who Red Fox was when I was talking about my father-in-law. Do you know who Della Reese is?
Well, of course.
My father-in-law also danced with Della Reese.
Oh.
Yeah.
She was one of the greatest singers of all time, and
yes,
was on a stupid TV show, Christian crap TV show of some sort.
I was telling him about you, how you knew who Red Fox was, and he goes, well, ask her if she knows who Dilla Reese is. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, and there's one more. He wants to know if are you familiar with tap dancers at all?
Some.
He danced with the Nichols brothers, which were one of the most famous Black brothers to actually get fame as a tap dancer. They were amazing. And he had the privilege of dancing with them as well. Because
I have not seen them whatsoever.
But Sammy Davis Jr. tapped.
Yes, but Sammy Davis Jr. came after the Nichols brothers. The Nichols brothers came, and then Sammy, and then of course Gregory Hines. Somebody had
Gregory Hines. That's right.
The Nichols brothers were the trailblazers, and my father-in-law just was really impressed that Ginny even knew who Red Fox was, because he's like, young people.
Oh God, I know who Red Fox is. Like
young
know.
people.
know.
Young people.
I know
Eyes
who he
old.
is.
Did you say young
mean-
people of today?
That's what he dubs all of us. I'm 53, and he still thinks I'm a young person.
Yeah, well, I'm 70. I bet he's a
Okay,
kid.
so you're actually close to his age because he just turned 74. Just turned
Okay.
74 last week. So that would explain
You're
it.
not
I
a
had
kid.
no
You're
idea.
allowed to have an opinion, Jenny.
I had no
Yeah.
idea that you were that old, Jenny, at all. None.
Yep,
I watched
am.
Sanford and Son.
Yes.
I remember that show. It was not that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is
And
kinda
He's
funny.
there's quite a few Red Fox stand-up bits on YouTube too. So
Mhm.
punch
This
it
is
up,
kinda-
you can see
This is
some
kind of
stand-up.
funny. I would grab Molly's back foot with my toes and just kind of mess with her, and apparently she likes it. So now she'll turn around and put her foot up and like, come on, grab my foot.
Do you know, Al and Dave, my favorite Red Fox is, I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm coming. I always do that to my
I'm
father-in-law.
coming for you. This is
And
it.
he's like,
This is the big one.
He's like,
I
And
love
his drawer full of glasses was always a classic too. He'd going through all the used glasses until he found one that worked so he could read something.
Yeah,
I
you pull him out
love
and go,
the
no.
hateful relationship he had with Esther.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
And
I
you know
don't
what the
who said
backstory
that, but
is?
yes.
They wanted to can her because she wasn't a good actress. Because her thing was song and dance or something. And Red Fox said, no, if you can her, you can me. He stood up for her and kept her on the show.
That's what I've heard.
He was a good guy on that kind of stuff.
Ironically, Red Fox actually did die from a heart attack.
He did. Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
He died from a broken heart. They took all his stuff.
You know what,
After
though?
the IRS took all his stuff, he died of a broken heart. He did.
He literally lived such an incredible life. Like, my father-in-law tells me stories about him. Like, I don't want to tarnish his image, but damn, the man, like, you'd walk into his house afterwards. Like, they do their variety show, his variety show down in Biloxi, I think it was, or Branson. And you'd walk into his house afterwards, and there would just be a literal pile of cocaine for everybody. He's like, here, hit it up. It's all you, whatever. So, like, he lived his life to the
But that
absolute
was the
fucking
era. That was
It was.
cocaine era.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing cocaine back then. Richard Pryor was a huge fucking cokehead.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, he lit himself on fire with some crack. Or was it freebasing?
did.
It was freebasing, wasn't it?
Yeah, freebasing. Well, no, that was crack cocaine, but it
Is that
doesn't
what
mean
it
the
was?
same thing now. Back
Oh, okay.
then, crack cocaine was literally cocaine that was cooked with baking soda to put it into a ball to make it smokable. That's all it was.
Oh my
But
God.
now all these chemicals and they call it crack, and it's not the same thing. So if somebody says, "Oh, did you do?" You know, if I say, "Well, I've done crack before," they're like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "No,
No,
the
not
real,
that crack.
the old crack, the real crack."
Yeah, the good stuff.
The good
Yeah,
stuff.
the shit that
Yeah.
was
The good stuff
just
from back in
cocaine
the
with some
day.
baking soda to make it clump together. That's all it did.
One of the actors said that when he went to buy a home, he needed some money, and Red Fox wrote him a check, and he said, "You don't pay this back, you pay it forward."
Yes. And actually, it's funny that you
Damn.
say that, Dave, because that man was in my house not even 4 or 5 weeks ago. Was it him? No, it was his son. I'm sorry. His son came to see my father-in-law, and he visited. And so I know exactly who you're talking about. Like, he literally was like, I'm just short. And Red's like, here's your check.
Wrote him a check.
Wrote him a check and said, buy it and pay it forward. And, you know, his son to this day, I'm so proud of that because his son's still paying it forward. You know, he
That's
does
awesome.
things for people, and it's awesome that incredible giving spirit can be alive today, generations later. You know, that's so amazing. It's so amazing.
Well, you know,
lot
the
of good
guy who
stories about
invented
him.
the guy who invented plastic, his grandkids to this day still go around picking up plastic and trash off the highways because they feel bad that he invented it.
Oh,
And
shit.
it causes such pollution.
Oh, I never thought
What
about
What was
that.
the name?
Well, he invented it originally just for in-home wiring to prevent fires. That's why he invented
Good reason.
It's like the Nobel
And
Is
Peace
that the
Prize.
guy who invented
Ooh, we can do so
Bakelite?
much with this.
Yeah, that's like the Nobel Peace Prize. He invented TNT or whatever it was,
Yes.
and then to pay it back, he did the Peace Prize. So
Hi, Native.
Yep.
He invented nitroglycerin and no, he didn't invent nitroglycerin. He found out that Alexander Nobel that if you absorbed it with porous or dynamiticious earth, it didn't explode as easy.
Right. Yeah, that was the formation of what they call the TNT, right?
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Making
TNT
nitro.
is actually dynamite is dynamiticious earth. TNT is specially processed and prepared ceramics that it absorbs into.
I don't bother to know any of that. I just go
But
to the Coyote and get some.
It was to make it stable because it was so unstable.
Randy wants to know if "show me your crack" sounds like a bad pickup line. Actually, I think it depends on, are you trying to pick up a woman or are you trying to
TNT,
pick up drugs?
Trinitrotoluene. It's
Or are you trying to pick up a plumber? I'm sorry, could resist.
Show me your crack. My sink needs fixing. I want to make sure it's not so bad. I don't want to stare at it for too long.
That's funny.
Hello, Tamla. Oh, Tamla.
Gotta have a nice
Mark
Hello,
Caesar had a
Tamla.
question for you.
Hello.
He wants to know why you're always driving. Do you drive for work? That was Mark Caesar's question.
Oh, so yes and no. I don't drive for work. I drive to work. But on I basically live out of my car because I'm all over the place between my day-to-day profession, which I'm in supply planning, and then what do you call it? Like the gym and the cardio classes that I do and teach and all that good stuff. But on the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday, I do part-time like cash for in-home care. And I have 2 clients that I see on the weekend to go and help senior citizens. So yeah.
Who said that? So hey Randall, I saw your comment in the comments. So my father-in-law has this really bitchin', oh god, I just aged myself. This really bitchin' collection of LPs. He has some of Red Fox's recordings of his comedy stuff on LP. Hold on to those if you have some, because even in mediocre shape, they can be worth some really good money. Because he, for some reason, I think we're doing a switch in America. I guess things like that are coming back into style, because we've had to go through my father-in-law's LPs, and he wants to sell some of them, but yet, the grandkids are like, don't sell them. But some of his stuff is really valuable, and Red stuff is up there with, it's not, super valuable, but is somewhat valuable. So hold on to it.
Yeah, because dude's got, what is it, the Beetle White album?
4 of them. He's got 4 of them, and 2 of them have never been opened. Never.
Yeah. He should sell one of those and take care of his pension for the rest of his life.
He's trying to at present moment, but people are trying to downbid him because they're like, oh, it can't be in great shape. I'm like, this thing has never been opened, and it's been in a frame its entire existence. So,
So it's like double, triple protected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, John, I'm sorry to hear that actually happens to you. Seasonal depression is a bummer. I get it.
It's a motherfucker, isn't it?
It is a motherfucker. Yeah, I get it. And I know I'm not. Can I plug my stuff really quick, Beck, or would you rather I didn't?
No, go ahead. I don't care. We already plugged you in the chat, so go ahead.
So, John, please follow me on TikTok. I do a lot of hints for helping with seasonal depression, because I deal with depression all year long, but seasonal depression gets me as well. And I put out a video last week about some really helpful things that help me, and I'm going to be putting some more out throughout the winter months. So it's Mama Deb.
If you can, try and get some stuff onto YouTube as well.
I need to get off my ass. I am so lazy. And the reason I'm lazy, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm lazy because I don't have a great sense of self-worth. I don't think my stuff helps as many people as I'd like it to. So I really start doubting
that's why
myself.
you have more followers on TikTok than I do. That's why, Deb.
Yeah, but I only have like 100 followers on YouTube. And plus, I'm going to readily admit this. I need Beck. Beck is my producer for YouTube, and he has a full-time job right now, and I don't feel comfortable asking him to give me more time.
At what point did I ever say that I couldn't produce your show? I get off work at 1:30 in the afternoon.
You would never tell me that. And that is why I won't ask, because you're a kind, gentle soul who loves me and you will help me in all things. And I don't like to invade in your time. You have a wonderful woman in your life now. You have a full-time job. You're doing wonderful things, and I don't want to invade. I'm a friend, and that's what friends do. Friends, in my opinion, take a back seat when you have other shit going on. That's just me.
All right. Well, here's Mama Deb's TikTok for you guys.
Thank you, Beck. Thank you, Beck. Yeah, I should get it. But Mange, I used to do before I got hurt really bad because I fell down the stairs. I used to do a TikTok show every week. And thank you, Mark. Thank you. And I used to do it once a week, and we talk about mental illness and how to deal with it and the symptoms. And I encourage people to like put out how they deal with their mental illness so that we can help other people, because doctors don't know everything, and helping each other.
Right.
I really should get onto your show sometime, because
I would love it.
I'm full of that kind of crap.
Okay. Let me get my
Jenny,
act together.
Doesn't Deb sound like me 2 years ago? 3 years ago. I tried to do a mental health. I tried to do a mental health channel on YouTube. That was my main goal at first.
You're both kind of nuts. I'll give you that.
We are nuts.
I mean, that's why we can talk about it, because we know. But
sometimes depression
people just
you to be.
Oh, wait. Do I need to turn myself up? Or
no, honey.
So, but it got to the point where the weekly YouTube show was just too much for everybody. I was depressing people, so I stopped doing it.
How do you feel like you were depressing people?
Because like people just started dropping off and not coming back, and when they did, they were like, everybody was just talking about sad shit all the time. Like I didn't focus on anything happy ever, and it didn't dawn on me for months that's what I was doing. So my viewership just was like, and then somebody said to me, well, I just can't hang out there. It's too much for me. I went,
you think we should eat? Okay, let's eat then.
We're going to eat? Did he
What?
say he's
I'm going to
eating?
mute Al because he's talking to his family and he didn't know he was unmuted.
Amanda, what were you saying?
I'll be right back. Actually, I have to finish cooking my dinner.
You know that everybody's leaving.
I'm just a few minutes away, so yeah, I'll be back.
Okay.
See, you even mentioned doing the weekly thing, and everybody starts leaving.
Okay, sorry everybody about having my mic on. But I'm gonna duck out, and hopefully I can listen again in a bit.
Oh no,
It's cool.
You're fine. Yeah,
It's great to chat with everybody.
Absolutely, Al.
Yeah, you too, Al.
Absolutely.
Have a good night.
Enjoy your supper.
Yes.
Sometimes mental illness
Somebody's
can
talking.
can harness your energies and focus all your aggression and all your depression into something creative and productive.
Yeah, you can do that.
I agree with you 100%. Whoever said that, I couldn't tell who was talking. Commander, I agree with you 100% because that's something that I suffer from major depressive disorder. So I have more sad days than I have happy days. Let's just be perfectly honest with everything going on in my life. But being able to talk to people about the signs and the symptoms, and Purple, if she's still in the chat, Purple is one of my biggest fans I've always felt, because when I go and I talk about different signs and symptoms and how you deal with things and how you do things, she's like, oh shit, she's talking to me again. It always made me feel like I was connecting with someone, because that's always been my goal. Because Beck told me in the beginning, don't put it out there you want to save the world. You just have to help one person at a time.
Oh my
and that was
gosh.
the big thing.
Yep.
Help one person at a time. And that's all I never need to do. And the fact that I connected with Purple on such a level made me be able to do the things I was doing even when I was sad and depressed. So I agree with you, Commander, 100%.
I was going to actually say that earlier when you said that you were feeling, I may be speaking out of context, but you were feeling like you were not making an impact, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I started my fitness journey some 6 years ago, and I was in, you know, I talked about it last week, but in an abusive relationship. Once I started that fitness journey and wanting to go down that track, and then it put, so like all of the anger and depression that I had prior to it, because I was heavy and like, do you know what I mean? So I put all of my energy and focus into just working out. And what it did was it avoided me dealing with all the trauma that I had gone through during those 7 years. And even more so taking it back to like childhood trauma and adolescence, teenage, and even early adulthood trauma, that I just kind of like blocked away, because I used all of the anger and the resentment and everything all the feelings that I had, I channeled it into just focusing on that. Was it good? Was it a good thing for me to do? No, it wasn't, because I still needed to deal with my problems. And when I realized that that I still had issues because I was running away, I was fearful of being in a relationship. And I have what do you call it? My attachment style is, in any time, is that like once I get scared, I tend to just kind of cycle off, right? To run away. I decided to start my self-healing journey. And during that time, the first question that I asked myself is, what is my purpose-driven meaning in life? What do I want to do? And what it was is, I want to positively impact the world in one form or another. And so that's why I do, like, you know, I got into like instructing Zumba, and that's why I got into just posting a lot of fitness stuff on the Book of the Faces. And then I ended up coming across TikTok whenever I was going through a really bad seasonal, it normally is the month of November for me, seasonal depression. And so many things just like changed everything for me. Like, not for nothing, but the TikTok helped me during that time. Especially those who share their personal journeys in life, because then it made me feel like I was not the only one. And then I started my small platform, because what I thought was, you know what, if a smile can change the world, even for if it's just for 15 seconds, one smile a day can make a difference. Because you don't know what type of path, you know, that person is walking through. And as long as you just share a smile, because that's what changed my entire like thinking. And it's kind of silly, but
no, it's not silly.
And that's what I think, though, is that as long as I'm positively impacting one person, one damn person, I don't care, like, I'm not trying to be this massive TikTok creator or anything, but I'm just trying to impact one person a day. And that's it.
You're quite right. I mean, you know, we touch our lives in all sorts of different ways. I, you know, obviously there's a lot of anti-trans shit going around. One of my ways of dealing with it was to create a coping strategy, and you know, it's, you know, just a points-based system. It's conceptual rather than, you know, literal. But you know, just walking down the street, someone looks at me, I smile, she smiles back. There's a point, you know.
Those
little tiny moments. I can gather loads of these little moments and make them a part of my day. The positivity that goes on, because we do so many positive things, you know, love our partners, or you know, parents, family, friends, etc., work colleagues, you know, all these things that go on all the time, and we kind of take them for granted, and we're worried about what the orange man who wants to get him to be president again is talking about, or whatever. And you know,
something stupid, probably.
What a great point, Laura. Oh my God, what a great point.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a practical example. Okay, you're gonna love this too. So I did a thing the other day, and here's the thing: I got blue hair.
I love your blue hair.
I just died, my friend dyed my hair for me, and it's like I got blue hair now, proper feminist now, obviously. But it's like, let's try something a bit different.
I love that it matches your glasses so well. That's fucking awesome.
Actually, no, because I was wearing green glasses a little while ago. I just swapped for these because I thought, blue glasses with
Yeah, no, they literally match. They look great with your
similar color
hair.
blue.
Now, thing is, I've just had a bunch of people there now saying, "Hey, that looks cool," or whatever. Well, there's the extra points for me today. That'll serve me nicely.
Yeah.
Right.
I got myself an orange wig, but I'm saving it for my interview with Jay Bundy. So
what are you saving it for?
when I get Jay Bundy on for an interview, because he wears a colored wig in his.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I understand.
That is, for people that don't know, that's Pocket Locker.
Yeah, Pocket Locker.
Okay.
That's that Jay. Yeah.
You guys make such a valid point in that I've always said, and I wish I don't know why I didn't make the connection before today, but I've always said that I can't change the world. I just change my corner of the world. The way I live my life changes my corner or my friends, or it's just the way I do things. It affects my life and the people who are in my life. And I don't know why I didn't make that connection before you said that, Laura, but like a smile at a stranger at the grocery store can be the difference between having a bad day and a good day. Stopping. And I'm a big believer in, if I see something about a person that I find appealing, I tell them. And I flat out tell them, listen, I'm not hitting on you or anything like that. I'm just telling you, you look fucking fabulous today. I love your eyes. I love this. I love that. And it's important, I think, that we do that for other people, because that's, honestly, I put out what I would want back. I would want people to see me if I smiled and said, if somebody saw me smile and they said, oh, you have a pretty smile. And I truly, truly, truly in my heart, and I know he's going to get mad at me because I'm going to embarrass him, but I truly, truly in my heart believe that is why Beck and I connected on the level that we've connected on in our lives, is because I was putting stuff out there and I had a very negative influence in my life, and I didn't realize it was negative at the time. But when I realized it, the person who was just kind of standing on the sideline being a support person to me stepped up and became one of my very best friends in the world. And you know what I'm saying? That shit.
Good job, Kyle.
What did I do?
Okay,
oh shit!
Tamla,
good job, Kyle.
You fucking know it. Shut up.
Tamla, just remember, when you're impacting somebody, you keep your fists tight, you keep your wrists straight, and the power comes from your whole body, not just your arm.
Yep.
You got to use your shoulder.
Follow through.
I tell you this, I took the kickboxing. I did boxing, cardio, kickboxing, all of that.
Oops.
I learned. Yes. That's wonderful. And in all honesty, it was a boss of mine who, he was trying to help me professionally, because I was one of those people at the same. I was so negative. I was so stuck in my own head, like, because I was in a relationship that I didn't want to be in, but I felt stuck in because of, my son and because of kids, being involved. I felt that I dove deep into my work. Like, I bought a freaking ottoman and a chair for my office because of how much I slept there, or brought my son in to sleep in the office with me because I didn't want to go to my own home. Like, I did not want to go to my own home. So I was massively depressed. And what it did, the saying, misery loves company, is exactly true. Exactly. Because nobody wanted to come and ask me for help. Nobody wanted to talk to me. I had RBF down 100%. And then my boss told me one day at that time, and this is what he said. He goes, Tamala, why are you never open to change? And I said, because if the fucking will is not broken, why try to fix it? And he goes, are you scared of change? And I said, maybe, I don't know. And he's like, well, if you never take a leap of faith, not everything's going to work out, but at least you tried. At least you tried something different. But if you never do it, you don't know the possibilities that are out there for you. And because he said that and he was trying to help me professionally, it also helped me personally, because I was driving one day into work one morning after a massive fight with, a freaking handprint across my face. And I'm driving down the highway and I see this FedEx truck in front of me. And the FedEx truck, whenever we were going up a ramp, and he, when they brake, and this is why I say it's silly, but when he was putting on his brakes, the back lights look like eyes. And then there was like a little nozzle on the back of the truck that reminded me of a nose. And then the little handle looked like a smile. And all I could think was a smile. And I stopped crying and I said, today's the day. And I kicked the fucker out my house. But it did take me 1.5 years to get rid, because there was stocking involved. There was PFAs involved. Like, it was a whole ordeal. But because of what my boss said and because of what I had been through, and I'm like, you know what? How am I going to know if anything's ever going to change unless I do it? So that's what I preface on telling people, is that, like, try to be positive, because when you think about positivity, that is exactly the type of energy that you're incorporating. Always smile. Even fake it till you make it. Even if you don't want to smile because your mental is down and out, like, fake the smile, because in return, somebody's going to go ahead and push that back, like the whole pay it forward type bit, right?
Yeah.
And it might impact you the day that you really, really need it, that it's paid forward back to you. And if you need to cry, cry. If you need to shout, shout. If you need to yell, yell. I do it quite often in my car by myself,
One of the things that
hold on, Laura, just 1 second. I want to read an excerpt from a very long, like, short story / poem I have, because she was talking about, and I wrote this when I moved into my tiny home. The first night I was in it, I sat down and just wrote this. And this is a small part of it. Most of us become adhered to a situation or place or job and are often stuck up to our knees in the mire. Do we want to step forward and start? Absolutely. Will we? Unlikely. It is fear of the unknown that holds us. Despite being less than content, we trudge through with a comfort in our hearts of knowledge. We know that our home sits and waits for our arrival, that there's water available in nearly every room we pass by or through every day. We know our routine with our careers and safely slide on that everyday rail, that our day-to-day life is safe, yet we crave more. I thought that was appropriate.
Yes. Thank you.
The thing I was going to say, and it's going to sound like I'm boasting here. I'm not. It's kind of
your damn horn.
It's self-serving as well. So so one of the things I do from time to time is I'll be in the city, and I'll just like see a homeless person, say, hey, do you want? I'm going to go to Subway, get a sandwich. Do you want one? And I'll get them a Subway sandwich to their liking. But sometimes I will invite them to have dinner with me, just a Subway sandwich, and I might be the only person they talk to on a human level that day, as opposed to someone grumbles something at them as they chuck them some change.
You treated them like a person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that makes the biggest difference. And why I say toot, because we all talk, like, if we're gonna do something good for somebody, we don't want to sit there and boast about it, but it made you feel good in your heart to do that. And I will sit there and say, the other day I was driving downtown and I came to a stoplight, and there's a lot of homeless people that are out there, but I saw this kid and he was young, and I don't know what it was. It just, I rolled down my window and I'm like, I don't have much, but here you go. And he looked and he goes, are you sure? And I said, yeah. He goes, this is $20. And I said, I'm good. Like I'm good. So I completely get it. Beck, you remember when we were working at Eckerd, and there was a homeless guy that used to come in, and he would pick up all the pennies and stuff out on the street, and he would come in and he would buy a can of sardines and like a 3-4 pack of like them little itty bitty cigars. a black guy, right? I can't remember his name for the world of me.
Tall black guy, right? Dark.
Yeah.
He was the one that chased the guy that mugged Christine for the deposit.
Yes.
And Christine went to Burger King and bought him. Remember back in, I don't know if you can still do it, but they had Burger King had like these packs of gift. It was like gift cards for Burger King. And you could spend like $25 and it was like $35 worth of food for whoever. And it was like a free Whopper, a free fries, free drink, whatever. So Christine, thanking him for trying to help her, bought him like 4 packs of that shit he could eat for like months.
That's amazing. So yeah, like he impacted. No, but he definitely impacted me. And one year, you know, I brought in a whole damn meal and I took him back into the break room. And this was in the old building when I started it. But I took him back into the break room and I said, I want you to have a Thanksgiving supper. And then it became like a thing. It became a thing, a tradition. And so for every holiday, I would bring him in stuff. And then my dad was getting rid of some clothes, and my dad had this coat. And so I gave it to him, and he's like, looks way too expensive. I said, listen, my daddy said he doesn't want it anymore. And it was one of them, what do they call them? Pea coats? Petty? Like a pea from the Navy?
Petticoat. Oh.
Yeah, petticoat.
Nice
yeah, really it's big and warm.
Black petticoat?
Yeah. Yes.
I remember him wearing that. I didn't know he got it from you.
Yes. Well, he didn't get it from me. He got it from my daddy. Yeah. So yeah, he would
like
always
23 years ago. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, the baby.
But he's a good guy, and I completely get that, Laura. It's amazing that you do that, and you go and you feed the homeless.
Why he was on the street?
Say what?
Did he ever tell you why he was on the street?
No.
He didn't tell her. He told me one day because I was out there talking to him. It was the 2 days after Christine got mugged, and Bianca and I had gone to the bank, and we came back, and I was just standing there talking to him like, how you doing? And he told me about the gift cards that Christine gave him. And so what had happened was his ex-wife robbed him blind of all the money, including his tax money, and the IRS has been after him because he was very rich. And he's like, it's just, I can't do anything. I'll never make that kind of, it's like millions I think he owes or owed back then, like $1 million or something. And he was like, I could never work that off and they will put me in jail. What's the point? So he lived on the street because of that bitch.
And that's the reason why I say, you know what? I wish that people would stop for a minute. Like, we all got problems. We all got emotional, mental, like, we've got problems. Everybody has problems.
We all got shit.
We don't want nobody passing judgment against us. We need to stop and take a look and offer more kindness. It's just like, if you want to get good energy in your life, you need to give good energy to other people's lives, because I do believe that the universe returns to you what you put into it. So, like, that type of stuff, Laura, for example, Deb, the energy that you're giving off and the difference that you're making in people's lives, even just one person's life, like, it's going to come back to you 10 times fold. Continue doing it. Even on the days that you feel you didn't impact, I guarantee you have impacted somebody. Here you go. The other night, I went to my favorite store in the whole wide world, which is what, Beck?
Your favorite store in the whole wide world? Ross's?
Yes. So, I was at Ross's, and I went shopping.
God, I thought I was going to be wrong for a second.
Yeah. No, I went shopping because I have a little shopping addiction, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I have OCD. So I fold all of my clothes as I take them off the hangers to put them on there on the counter. And then the lady just looked so sad, like the lady that was ringing me out. And I'm like, how's your day going? We start to, chop it up and talk. And I made her laugh. And, she was like, you know what? You need a mic. You need to have your own show because you are just funny. And I'm like, listen, if you cannot have a laugh, even when you're upset, like, not for nothing, but sometimes laughter is
yes, you do.
the world's medicine to everything. Like for me, I don't know about anybody else, but laughter gets me into a different type of mood. And then before I started walking out the door, she was like, "Thank you." And I said, "For what?" And she goes, "Because I've had a really, really stressful week. Today's been super long, and I'm overworked and I'm underpaid, and you have been the highlight of my." I'm speaking out of context here, but basically that's what it was. Is that I made her day better, and I walked out of that store after giving her my phone number because I'm like, "You need a wing woman? Like, we can go out. Let's go out. Let's go dancing. Let's go have a drink. I'm good with that." And I said, I walked out and I'm like, I made a difference in somebody's life today, and they shared that with me.
You know how she made her
Watson.
laugh? She was talking shit about men. That's what she was talking shit about me.
Want to check out some good stories? I put a link in the private chat there, Beck. The guy's channel is Just Nate. Now, some people say stuff about putting people on camera. However, he raises a lot of money to help these folks. And he'll come up and he'll say, "What do you need? I could use a room." He puts them in a room for a week.
I know who that is.
Hey, what do you
on
need?
TikTok?
I need,
Yes.
well, I follow him on YouTube, but he
I think I
has
know he's
raised,
great.
his channel is blowing up. He raises a lot of money and he gives it all to these folks. And so say what you will about putting it on camera. I think he does great things. He's a great guy. So
Nothing wrong with putting it on camera if that's what you're doing. Though.
Yeah,
if they don't want to be,
If
he
you're
won't put them on.
helping.
It's not, but
yeah, I've seen a lot of those on YouTube Shorts.
yeah, he's got a bunch of shorts too. Yeah.
It's a bit like what Tamara was saying. One of the things I don't really do it much anymore because I get my groceries delivered. But when I used to go to the supermarket, and they have like a pizza counter, and you can choose your own pizza basically. So toppings and all that kind of stuff. And I had a reputation, and I may be blowing it right now because obviously, this is before I transitioned, but I was the pineapple man because I used to ask them.
Oh my goodness!
When you ham, bacon, mushrooms, and pineapple. That was the pizza I like, and
you're one of those pineapple people.
We can't be friends anymore. I'm sorry.
Pizza wars.
Only thing that goes on pizza is pork. Only pork. Only pork on Dave's pizza. But you enjoy your feast. You enjoy your feast.
So when you do the pineapple, dig down the bottom where the juice is. I like that. And of course, not only that, I chat to them while they're making the pizza. Whereas most other people just sort of grumbled an order at them and then stood there on their phone for a couple of minutes while they waited till this person made the pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I would just like chit chat about nothing in particular. Have you had a busy day?
Yeah, I love fresh pineapple, but not on my pizza.
Mark Caesar makes a very salient point.
Mark says, "I have more respect for those that will do good things quietly than those that will do things for public acclaim."
Exactly.
Yes. Well, do you know what? People say stuff about putting people on camera, but if you're raising money doing it and it's all going right back to them, I mean.
Oh no, absolutely.
I think that's a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
isn't for personal glory. He gives it all right back. So.
You know what? When you said personal glory there, it reminds me of something from the other day. So it's Friday evening, I went to Manchester to see my friends, which is one of them changed my hair for me. So I'm in the middle of the city, and I'm just going to walk down to the store to a store that I wanted to go to, and there's a street preacher, and she's pointing at other people with the whole judgmental shit. When they do that, then I'll challenge him. I'll give him a tough time. And she was posing for the camera. She had like a tripod with a phone on it, and she's all that kind of thing, and doing these big moment stuff and stuff like that. And it's like, and it's like I kind of insulted her, and and without actually swearing or anything. It's like, isn't why are you judging other people? You seem to be very judgmental. You're using your Bible as an idol. You're using it as a weapon to attack people. Performing
Preachers are the worst. They are the worst.
Fucking
You're performing to a camera. Isn't pride a sin?
It is, Miss. Oh, wonderfully done, Miss. Wonderfully done.
And then
by the way, the other thing when I find a Karen that's doing shit like that and acting all trying to act Christian, because I'm like, you know what? If that's Christian, I don't want to be it. And I know some real Christians who are really good people who don't do any of those things. So don't tell me it's okay.
They're not.
So what I say to them is, excuse me, doesn't it say in your Bible that only God has the authority to judge other people?
Yeah, Matthew 7.
So why are you standing here doing it?
Oh, very good. Yeah,
that's
why I say, you know,
judge lest you be.
Yeah,
judge not lest you be judged.
Yeah,
Judge,
and that's what I say
lest
when
you be judged.
Yes.
For if the same measure you judge, that shall be rendered onto you.
Yeah.
Yep, and I sit there and I tell somebody, you know what? Ain't no
right. You poke your finger at the splinter is someone else's. Yeah. Street preachers like that annoy me because they're, like I say, they're being self-righteous. They're judging other people. And then I will challenge them and I had one guy who I painted into a corner. And there was this wonderful moment when he knew that I'd beaten him. I basically, I just want to point out, I'm an atheist, but I'm not an anti-theist. The way that I work is, we have this unsaid rule in the UK. Maybe it's like, like hundreds of years of fighting over who's got the righteous soul for the people kind of thing, Protestants versus Catholics and wars and, beheadings and all sorts because of it's just the tribalism is rife through this history of my country. And so as a result of all that, we kind of have this like unsaid mantra. If you're a believer, fine. If you're not a believer, fine. As long as you're not in someone's face about it, nobody cares. It's a personal thing.
Right.
And so when I get them trying to, sort of moralize over other people, it's like, right, okay, let's. And so the wonderful moment for me with this guy, and I'm basically drilling him on the contradiction as a contradiction in the Bible and the resurrection account. Why is this important? Well, Paul says that, Christianity rises and falls on the evidence of the resurrection. So if there's a problem with that, then the whole thing kind of falls apart, doesn't it? And so I'm nailing him down, and it's like, how many angels were in the tomb? Was it 1, 2, or none? And I'm hammering and pushing. He'd divert, and I drag him back. Yeah, but which one's the true one? And it's so ultimately he's like Matthew, which is I call it the Michael Bay version of the resurrection, because in a Michael Bay movie, if a car explodes, it's not enough that it explodes; it needs to do 4 somersaults in the act of exploding.
So extremely exaggerated version. Check.
Yeah. So the Matthew version is, sorry, Mark, the women go to anoint the body of Jesus. Who's going to move the tombstone out of the way? Oh, look, the tombstone's moved out of the way. You go in, one man sitting. Luke, they turn up. Who's going to move the tombstone out of the way? Oh, look, the tombstone's moved out of the way with 2 guys standing. And then in Matthew, there's a giant earthquake. An angel swoops out the sky, moves the tombstone out of the way, and sits on and says, "Yeah, go and have a look. He's living." That's a big difference.
Yeah,
I'm nailing him down, and I'm literally painting him in the corner with tar. And so
I call it Bible trivia time. It's like, oh boy, Bible trivia time. Here we go.
So it came to the point, and he had a microphone and an amplifier, and he's letting me hold the microphone, and I'd say something and hand it back, and he'd say something, and we're going backwards and forwards. A really, really amicable chap. And like I say, so I'm hammering in it and narrowing it down and getting it tighter and tighter. This little, bottleneck that I'm shuffling him into. I'm kettling him in there. And ultimately, he ended up saying Matthew was the correct one. I said, well, okay, so if Matthew's the correct one, the other, if that's the true one, the other ones are not true, aren't they? Those are lies, aren't they? And that was the moment when he had to become dishonest, because his choice was he had to give up the position that he had. And he needed that. He was so scared of hell or whatever that, he didn't care about what was true. He only cared what he wanted to be true. And thing I said was just getting in the way of that. And so his dishonesty was when when the microphone never touched my hand again. And the microphone went right up to his nose and he talked really loudly into it. And if I said something, he was talking as well. He'd speak right over the top of me. He couldn't allow anybody to hear me. And that was the time he knew I'd beaten him and I knew I'd beaten him. And I walked away. And I walked up the street and there's another street preacher and he's just like shouting out to the crowd. And he's like, I love Jesus, Jesus loves me, and this is what makes me happy. And I had no argument against that. Because he wasn't moralizing on people, he was explaining why he gave him happiness and hope and all that kind of stuff. And that's fine, that's cool.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how they're no longer interested or no longer can let you speak your truth when you've proven them wrong or you've won the argument? It's amazing. A lot of people.
The lady the other day, she started off with, "What's your name?" And I said, "Laura." She said, "What's your real name?" I said, "Laura."
Laura.
And she's like, that
pisses me off. What is your real name? It's like you're from a different.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm with Kamala on this one, Laura. That pisses me off that person had the nerve to say to you, "What's your real name?"
What's your real name?
That is her real name. Come on.
Okay.
That preacher's name was Karen.
Yeah.
That preacher's name was Karen.
But what you're going to love about this is that she put it on YouTube yesterday.
No joke. Are you serious?
You can see my conversation backwards and forwards with her.
The whole thing, or did they edit
and I
it?
have to admit, most of the time you can have a conversation with them, but she would go off all over the place and she'd start, sort of parading and things like that. And, at one point she said, like, "You're one of those, aren't you?" I said, "One of what?"
I was just going to say, what the hell is one of what?
Well, you see, this is it. The thing is, in the UK, we've got anti-hate laws. So if she started saying, like, the gays or whatever, that kind of thing, someone could phone the police and she could get into trouble. And, she knows where the line is. So it's like, so it, but won't cross it. And I said, "Oh, do you mean gay?" And, I can't say it. I said,
Okay. So can I tell you what you need? But hold on 1 second, Laura. Can I tell you what you need to start saying? Because we say it in the U.S. Okay?
Yeah.
When somebody says, "Oh, are you one of those?" What you say in response is, no. I'm going to let you know. Okay? You look at them and you say, "You know what? Yes, I am one of those. Fuck around and find out." That's all you got to say. Fuck around and find out. That is it.
It was better than that. You see, the thing is, it's like chess. I'm already thinking about 3 moves ahead, you see. So my reaction was, oh, it's a shame you didn't say gay, because I'm asexual. I've never had sex. I'm not interested in having sex. So I couldn't possibly be committing a sexual sin against God because I'm literally not having sex. And she said, and you could almost see, like, what, I'm like nearly 50 and I'm a virgin kind of thing. Are there any more virgins around here? And I said, wait a minute. You got a problem with me being a virgin? You're trying to embarrass me? Now, the thing is, wasn't Jesus a virgin?
Nah, he had all those guys with him. He's gay.
I find it funny.
His disciples.
Jesus is God's concubine.
I've had someone say,
right, Jenny,
committing a sexual sin, and I said I'm asexual. I'm going to be committing a sexual sin when I'm literally not having sex. And his eyes buffered because it's like, oh my God, I've never heard that one before. And the best thing he could do is lift his Bible and say, "We're all sinners against God." And I said, did you? And I said to the audience, "Did you notice how I completely avoided my question?" They laughed at me.
Okay, go on. Go on.
Have you?
Goodness.
Have you ever? I'm sorry. I'll let you go. I have my own story of a street preacher, but I'll let you continue, and then after you're done.
Yeah, this is the last little bit I'll go on. I was mean to her as well, because she was like, doing this praying. She just wouldn't. It's like she had ADHD or something. You couldn't sort of get her attention for anything. She was too busy posing for the camera than interested in having a dialogue. And of course, this is the dishonest type of street preacher who don't care what you think. They're there to just shout out and not have any feedback. And so, at one point, like on a distracted moment, and she's sort of shouting to these, like, a lot of young people who were, there must have been like 40 people around because they're watching the show. Most people normally just walk by and you ignore them, just noisy idiot people. But no, when there's a show going on, when there's drama, it's entertainment. They're there with their phones and they're laughing.
I'm sorry. I have to. I have to say something. I'm sick of religion, you guys. Come on.
Yeah.
You're proselytizing here. I'm sick of it. Stop with religion.
The real entertainment part, and like I say, it was a bit. I was a bit of a jerk in this regard. She sort of then spontaneously sort of shouted about how, I used to be a drug addict, and I was like, think you might still be. Laughter.
What, you want a cookie? Right.
I used to get drunk all the time, and I said, pretty sure that's not just either. Oh, I was a jerk, but she deserved it.
Yeah, it's like
Jenny,
the
are
old
you
saying
talking about you're sick of religion talk or the talk of religion right now? I'm sorry, I want to make sure okay.
All of it.
All right.
I usually don't even discuss religion on my channel, to be honest with you, because everybody else in the whole community talks about it.
I know.
That's the one thing I usually try to avoid. Hi, Kelly. How the fuck are you?
Speaking of which,
yeah,
Godless Granny.
Godless Granny popped in.
Always a pleasure.
So, can I tell you guys about this funny TikTok that made me feel really old?
Yes, do it.
Okay, so this person was walking around their work and they were asking people, what year were you born? Right? And people are going, 90, 76, whatever. And the next question they said was, what's Jenny's number? And all the people are like, Jenny who?
8675309.
Jenny, your mom.
8675309. Yeah.
That's only from the 80s, though.
Yeah, but then there was this kid who honestly, he's like 94. He was born in 94 and he knew the number. And they're like, how do you know Jenny's number? Because I got a really cool set of parents. I was like, yes.
I'm glad that I didn't say what I wanted to say before I let you finish talking, because I was about to say, fuck them kids. But no, he's a cool kid.
You guys don't know it, but
my kids know a lot of rock.
Okay, never mind.
Sorry, my kids know a lot of rock trivia, even if they don't care to know it. It's stuck in their heads.
What was that, Jenny?
Go ahead, Jenny.
No, nothing. Don't worry about it.
No. Everybody quit running over Jenny. Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
No, I'm not going to. It's not salient anymore. It's gone.
Okay.
Moving on. Just a little thing, Beck. I've gone to put the link to the lady doing the street preaching, so you can actually watch me doing it. And but it's timestamped 16 seconds in. Is when I sort of just before I approach.
Watch it later. Don't leave.
Yeah. Watch it later.
So I heard that actually was a phone number back when I was a teenager. I heard that number, like they had to change their phone number because people were calling it to see if somebody actually answered. I don't know if it's true or not.
Did you know that a radio station in California bought that number?
No,
really?
I didn't.
Yeah, somebody gave it away as a prize or something. I heard about that. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, there's a radio station in California. If you dial that area code with 8675309, you will get that radio station. And they did it intentionally because people were playing around doing it. So now you're calling the radio station. Cool.
Well, now it's what do you call it?
Great
Now
marketing.
now it's like chic or something to have it, So people want to buy to get it now when the people used to try to give it away. Yeah.
So, do any of you guys play on Alexa has a song quiz? Do any of you play song quiz?
I don't.
No.
I don't, but I will.
You should check it out, you guys, because it's all of our stuff. You can go back like 40s, 50s. It's so much fun to just listen to the old songs and you try to pick them up, and it's amazing but then when you hit the 2000s, like we play it all the time because my father-in-law is a big musical guy. But we hit the 2000s. I'm like, what is this shit? The music really took a dive after the 90s. It really
I'm
did.
so diverse when it comes to music.
Actually, there is.
Else. Go ahead.
There actually is can actually be shown scientifically that actually they degrade.
Did you know? Here's a fun little thing for you. Did you know that the how many people are having sex right now? The accuracy has been defined more thanks to Alexa.
Say that one more game.
Say that again.
The question, if you Google the question, how many people are having sex right now?
I've always
Alexa has helped narrow narrow it down more.
I'm gonna actually Google that because
I'm
like, how many people are having sex right now outside of not me?
Did you that joke?
Oh, Tamala, I want to make a comment
long
right now,
now,
but
baby.
I don't know you well enough to make it, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
No. You put that energy into the universe. Go ahead and speak your mind, girlfriend.
I was going to say, well, I think we could start the countdown because aren't you going to go see Beck in a couple of weeks?
So I was going to say this a little bit earlier, Mark. I'm not going to be driving in 2 weeks on a Sunday. I'll be side by side.
I just had to say it.
That's fine. I'm gonna fly out. I'm gonna see my man.
There's a Sinbad video where he comes out on stage and he goes to all you young people out here, and there's a band behind him. He says, "These are instruments," and I think that's when I think that's when the problem kind of set in. Is when, and nothing against electronic or anything else because I dabbled it in myself because I wanted my own little beats on my channel. So I made up some beats with a little beat maker. Nothing against it because I don't have the talent, right? But I think there is that need to have instruments played and the soul and the heart that comes out in it. You know what I mean? That nobody can repeat. Everybody that plays an instrument is just a little bit unique. You know?
Oh, agreed.
And electronic can repeat anything. Yeah.
The first
Carrie,
it's going to be different.
Carrie, I have to say that I spent over 900,000 miles on the roads in the United States, and I have seen some really bad driving happening while guys are getting head. I'm just letting you know.
I'm guilty of doing that for my man. I'm guilty.
Don't do that. It's very dangerous.
I was going to say, I think I ran into Carrie Ann in traffic before.
Tamala, can I tell you?
I'd see somebody like going faster and slower and swerving a little bit and faster. And slower.
What the heck are they doing? That one you're just, what are they doing? What are they doing?
You just called Beck your man.
I can about tell you what they're doing by how they're driving.
One time someone crashed in the back of someone. Next thing you know, it's John Wayne Bobbitt all over again.
John Wayne. Hold on. Did you say John Wayne Bobbitt?
Yeah,
like
she did.
Bobbitt.
Yeah.
I know the Bobbitt, but the John Wayne part is that's classic.
Lorena.
I always called him John.
Lorena was upset that day, having a bad day.
Just don't get head from a zombie.
Okay,
She did the right thing.
Can I publicly apologize? I just totally misgendered Laura, and I'm so sorry. I'm so freaking sorry. No, it's not acceptable. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Honestly, I didn't take it personally. It was a slip of the tongue. You know,
she's crying right now.
I know. I've got a kind of look like still got a blokey voice. I struggle to do the girly voice. But it's okay.
Laura, can you stop for a second? I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. Maybe partially I do. Because I'm going to let you know that before I saw your face on here, nothing but femininity is what was coming from your vocal for me. For me. I don't know about nobody else, but for me, that was it.
Yeah, your voice is more feminine.
So you're not struggling.
And you know, I as somebody that supports LGBTQ folks, you know, I try to watch the pronouns and everything, but sometimes certain sentences, things just come out he, she, and stuff, and it's like, oh, you know, it's not intentional. All right. So,
I'm so sorry.
you know,
Deb, it's okay.
Don't worry about it.
it's the intent. It's the intent there, Mama.
It's the intent, not the. It's okay to slip up every once in a while. It's the intent that matters.
Right.
It's not okay
If
because
you-
I would literally punch somebody in the face if they misgendered anyone that I was close to. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Laura.
Honestly, no apologies. You made a mistake and like, oh gosh, I'm sorry. And I can, as soon as you put your hand over your mouth, it's like, oh gosh, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
can you stop? Yeah,
Look,
because I'm about to fly out to Oregon
The
tonight.
worst thing
I
about
wanna-
the
can I
Hold
worst
on,
thing.
Jenny's talking. Jenny.
No, I'm just trying to. Everybody seems to ignore me. The most important thing about misgendering is that you don't make a big deal out of it. You say, I'm sorry, and go on from there. Don't say anything else. Don't explore it. Don't describe it. Just go on.
Okay.
Because
Thank
it
you.
becomes more
Thank you.
embarrassing for that person if you
Okay.
keep talking about it.
God,
Okay.
yes.
So noted.
Jenny,
Thank you, Jenny, for telling me that.
And I've
Thank
got one last thing to say on it. It really comes down to intent. That it was an accident. It slipped out by accident. I don't, it wasn't intentional. When someone does
wasn't-
something intentional, fuck you.
Yeah,
But if
when
someone
it's, when
does
it's
it
said
by
with
accident,
hatred, fuck that.
yeah, it's, so I'm good. I'm fine. In fact, I enjoyed the laughter. You laughed so hard. It was like, oh my God, that was,
Okay. As long as you're okay, I'm okay with it. I'm a pretty sensitive person when it comes to shit like that. So I no, let's be honest. I'm a sensitive person no matter what. Fucking everything makes me cry. So
it's
Have a big group hug, and everything's all good.
Go all into the camera. All into the camera. I'm hugging you. Your face is right in my titty. All right now. Right in my titty.
Wait a minute. Let me put myself full screen. Hold on.
Yeah. Jenny.
Yes.
Yeah. Have my bed ready next month because I'm gonna come to Minnesota.
I won't be here.
The fuck, Chuck? Yo. I cannot with you right now. What are you talking about? You ain't gonna be there. Where are you gonna be? You did not get permission to leave the state of Minnesota.
Well, I thought I was going to go camping out by we got this one little spot that is where the 45th and the 90th parallels or latitude and longitude come together. I was thinking of going camping there.
Okay, so I'm
Jenny,
gonna
I
come
have
out
a
to the
question.
campsite.
In the winter?
Oh.
Sure, why not? Winter camping is fun.
Where do those parallels meet? Let me ask that.
In northern Wisconsin.
You camp? Okay, you camp in the winter in northern Wisconsin?
Sure.
God damn, you are a badass. You are a badass.
That's a bad bitch right there. Like, for real. Because when you said Miss... Okay, never mind. I ain't coming. That's too damn cold. I'm sorry.
You need to hook up with...
I like the heat.
You need to hook up with Mike over at Answers in Atheism. He's up in that area.
Yeah?
This time of year, it usually doesn't get below 20.
That's cold. That's really fucking cold.
Yes,
No, that's
too
not
cold for me. I would just take my house to the campsite. It would be easier.
20 below is cold.
Yeah, because you're in Wisconsin. So Wisconsin.
No. You want to know what's cold? Anything below 50 degrees. And I don't know what that is in Celsius, but what I know is here 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That is cold for me.
You know what I like to do?
Skin like some
That's
damn
my
sun.
girl.
I like wearing shorts. Amen.
I like
I
like sleeping at night in winter with the window open.
I
Commander.
sleep naked, so it doesn't work for me.
Again, I must nominate Jenny for the baddest bitch on the block because I cannot believe you can sleep like that. Holy
Not
shit.
the fucking Marshmallow Man. I love it. Oh my God. Yes.
That's from Ghostbusters. That's a Ghostbusters Afterlife thing.
Jenny,
I
though,
don't need
for real,
Marshmallow
whenever
Man.
you get back, though, because we'll have a couple more streams, and I just want to take a couple minutes real quick so I can throw this in there. When you get back, I would like to visit you because you are closer to me than anybody else, and I definitely am a face-to-face person. Take some time. Beck has talked nothing but good shit about you. I swear to God, you are a person
She's
that
amazing.
I would love to have in my life.
I'm going to have to stop paying Beck for that, I guess. It's...
Could you do me a favor and stop? If you want to actually promote
Look,
me,
Jenny, I ain't got a
that'll
check
be
from you
good.
in 2 years. No, I'm kidding.
That'll be good. It's okay. You know what? I take payments in like food. I'm a foodie. I'm a foodie. Can you cook? Girl, can you cook?
Yes.
That's right.
Okay,
Cook.
so seriously,
So, because
Jenny,
I'm going to come there and I'm going to eat. I'm just saying, I take my food seriously. Third or second,
connected.
give me a second. So I just arrived. It's so funny because my one client her name is Miss Jenny. So I just arrived at Miss Jenny's house and I need to go in and take care of her wound care. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off, but
Okay, baby.
I had a fabulous time. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your stream. Let's see. I will call you soon whenever I get home, puppy. So yeah. All right.
Okay,
Cool
baby.
beans.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, beautiful.
okay, so Jenny, are you originally from Wisconsin, or is that just where you live now?
Born and raised. And,
No
and
wonder.
I would move from Wisconsin to Minnesota.
Well, no wonder then. No wonder you're used to the cold weather. I would die. I would absolutely die in 20-degree heat weather. I would be like freezing. And I'm from Montana, and we get some cold stuff up there, but I'm not used to it anymore. I'm in Oregon, and it's right now. Well, actually, we're cold right now. We're in our 30s right now. That's cold for me. I don't know how you deal with it. I don't know how you do it.
It's
I don't know if you guys know who this. Oh,
it's called layers.
Yes,
It is
ma'am.
called
It
layers.
is. Yes, ma'am. It
Flannel.
is.
It's not the one
Flannel.
bulky jacket. You have to do layers. Everybody who doesn't know my friend over here, Donna, say hi to her.
Where's
she is
Donna?
a really nice person. Ozark Oracle.
Is that Orzak? Orzak?
Yeah,
How do you
Ozark
say that?
Oracle.
Ozark? Ozark?
Ozark, like the
Ozark.
Ozarks.
Ozark, like that. Okay, okay, got it.
Zorak.
Hi, Ozark. It's not going to happen, so I'll work on it. Sorry, guys.
That's a warm-up name before you go on the microphone there.
Yeah,
Ozark
Ozark.
Oracle. Ozark Oracle.
Ozark Oracle.
I do
Let me
that
use
before
my
I
lips
before I go on.
properly.
Before I go on, I do that. I
Before you go on
enunciate.
doing, do what? Go on doing what?
Well, I got my channel, and then tomorrow is the Grassman Chronicles that I do with trees from Look at the Trees. So
I do not know what any of that, what the last one was. Can you educate me? Is that okay, Beck?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
you
I got
know-
distracted by chat. What am I
If he
educating
educates
you on?
me on what that channel is he's going on the
well,
stream.
Oh, I don't care.
I have my channel's Captive Desk. That's my name up there is Dave at Captive Desk. So my channel's Captive Desk, and I like talking about a lot of otherworldly things. And Trees got a hold of me one day, and he says, "Hey, I like talking about Bigfoot." In case you didn't notice, my avatar up there is Bigfoot sitting at the Captive Desk with orange walls, and it's pretty close.
Yes.
It's pretty close to what my view is right here at the Captive Desk. So,
Do you ever
Anyway.
shave your legs?
not lately. So trees from Look at the Trees channel got a hold of me, and he said, "Hey, I like talking about Bigfoot stuff. Maybe we should do a video."
Oh, yeah.
I even have a Bigfoot story, right? And then as we talked, we just thought, well, why don't we just do a show together about Bigfoots and related things? And in Ohio, Bigfoots are called Grassman. So
Oh,
instead of another Bigfoot blah 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 channel or whatever, we kind of Trees came up with it. I thought it was very creative. So it's the Grassman Chronicles. There's also there's also a Sasquatch Chronicles channel out there too.
I was just going to
Nice.
say that it seems so odd that you would have that there wouldn't be any, much less several channels that deal with nothing but something that doesn't exist. But then I realized there's religious channels too. So,
Hey,
well
we're-
played, Jenny. Well
We
played.
think
Well played.
we're looking at a chunk of the pie out there because we've come across some Bigfoot videos with tens of thousands and more views on them. So
Yeah, you
There's-
might be a little bit careful with those guys because they will try and ding you left and right.
well, we do a unique approach on stories. Like our title for tomorrow's show is "I Had Bigfoot's Baby." So We're examining physical evidence claims rather than just sight. So we're going to take a look at people that claimed to have had encounters with Bigfoot that were very intimate, and people who claim to have hair and, you know, bones, teeth, or whatever they claim to have.
How come we never get to see any of these genetic reports or you know, analysis
we're
of
gonna,
hair?
We got 2 of them we're gonna talk about in tomorrow's show. So tune in.
And what do Bigfoots
we will tell you.
Eat? I'm sure you guys have all done like scat collections and things like that, right?
It varies. The latest one I heard is Bigfoots are related to Neanderthals, and the reason you don't find remains is because Neanderthals were cannibalistic. There's evidence in caves and stuff they were cannibalistic. So usually in times of, you know, hard times, but so they're saying the Bigfoots are related to the Neanderthals. The reason you don't find bodies is because they eat them.
The problem,
there you go.
The problem is that
Neanderthals
existed in Europe and nowhere else on the planet.
Well, but Bigfoots are interdimensional. They're shapeshifters.
Okay.
They're alien visitors. The reason you don't have bodies because I could talk for you. How much you want to talk about Bigfoots?
So I do want to know one thing. This person who said that they'd had Bigfoot's babies or something. This person, did you find them on the National Enquirer?
Yes, Native. Yes, Native.
National
Enquirer. Did you just say National Enquirer? Because I love you, Laura.
Yeah, okay, I made a video that plays in the background while we're talking, and it is 50 tabloid headlines that play through in a loop while we're doing the show tomorrow. So if you want to check it out, it's the Grassman Chronicles. It's at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, Carrie already put the link into the chat for everybody.
Yeah, we do it live. We do it live. So Trees and I do a lot of work.
It's a lot of fun too.
And we talk a lot and plan a lot. And
what day?
It's tomorrow, the 4th.
Monday.
It's not always Mondays. It changes because of Tree's work schedule. So we accommodate my partner. So it varies. But Christmas is coming up, and Trees has got a great giveaway putting together. But it's only for people that are subscribed at the Grassman Chronicles channel. So that's going to be one of the conditions to win the prize, and it's a heck of a prize. So
I'll tell you what, Dave, I live in the Pacific Northwest, so you can't live where I live and not hear Bigfoot stories because it's all over the place.
Thank you, Carrie. And hey, if you ever want to come on and share a Bigfoot story, get a hold of me at allhailbigfoot@gmail.com.
Is that all one word?
It's all one word. All hail Bigfoot. Everybody knows that's my catchphrase is all hail Bigfoot. And if you know me, it's very easy to remember my Gmail because it's allhailbigfoot@gmail.com.
Could I come in and tell a story about my 6'8" nephew who had like size 16 feet?
You need to get.
Wait a minute, then I have to come in and talk about my nephew who's 6'6" maybe a little over that, and wears size 15 shoes.
I'd have to talk about my son who's 6'5" and wears a size 15 shoe. So
we welcome Bigfoot stories. We welcome alien UFO type stories. We welcome ghost stories. You got a bump in your attic and you want to talk about it, you can get a hold of us and we'll set something up and have you on the show.
I should get on your show then. I got a bunch of stories.
I have a bunch
like
of
I say, get a hold of us.
We
will be glad to set something up with anybody that wants to tell their stories.
Oh hell yeah. I'm gonna turn my husband onto it. That's great. Thank you, Dave.
So I'm pretty tall myself, and I've been fortunate. I found a charity that when I finish with a pair of shoes, they send them off to Southern America. There's some Amazonian tribe. They recycle them and they turn them into canoes.
Nice. I love you, Laura. I love you so much.
One or two person.
But hey, so
I say it dead kind and people think I'm serious for a second,
And we take on all kind of otherworldly claims on there, and I also do
That's
stuff
really
on
cool,
my
man.
channel about my own stuff too. So I'm big into, I've got a couple things right now that I'm dealing with. Hugh Ross put out a challenge, a testable challenge, okay, something actual testable about the supernatural, and he said that if you dabble in the occult, these are the people who see UFOs and aliens and encounters and everything else. So I put them to the test. I made some videos. We got out some Ouija board and we got out some tarot cards and we got out some crystals and we got out some spell books and we did all the stuff. And I've been watching the skies and so far nothing. So
when
Ross is going to hear from me because I was counting on a lap dance from the green Star Trek lady. Anybody remember the original Star Trek series?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, and my wife, bless her heart, she gave me a hall pass. So if the UFO shows up and the green Star Trek lady is gonna give me a lap dance, I got a hall pass. I can get my lap dance. I'm gonna be really disappointed
I don't
if
understand.
it doesn't show up.
If you see the green lady, you get a hall pass. Does it make you have to go to the bathroom or what?
It means I can get a lap dance and my wife's not gonna get mad. That's what it
Careful, they use their pheromones to enslave men.
But I took it
she'll be
seriously.
mad. She just won't say anything.
But I took it seriously. Okay, we try to be fair, and we're skeptics, but we try to examine every side of the story, and so do I. So I took him to task and did exactly what he said, and I'm putting him to the test. And he said, and if it doesn't basically work, you can let me know. And it's like, okay, buddy. And if anybody knows who Hugh Ross is, he's a apologist. But when he starts talking about UFOs, everything's demons. And wow, does he have some farm out stories about demons?
I have to say though, I totally appreciate the fact that you're putting a show out there where people can come on with their stuff, because like I sit in the agnostic category because I just don't know what the F is out there, but I know what I can do and I know what I can see and I know what I can feel. So there are things that I have experienced that are not within other people's realm of belief, and that's fine. But I also live with two people who, well, I kind of believe too that aliens exist. So like I fucking love that you're putting it out there and people can come on and talk about this, because there are people who are not kooks who believe in this shit. We're not all, crazy people that everybody gets deemed. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, my partner Trees, that's how we started talking, is because he thought that he ran into a Bigfoot with a couple of buddies of his. So he believed for a while that he actually ran into Bigfoot, but the more he thought about it and examined it, he came to a conclusion it was probably a bear. But we don't doubt anybody's experiences. We just examine the experience and we say, well, it could be this, or it could be this, or maybe it was Bigfoot, right? Maybe it was Bigfoot.
What did you say the most logical conclusion was?
It was a bear.
I got to see a quote unquote Bigfoot. Oh, I actually know what it actually was. It was actually a orangutan that had escaped from the zoo.
Skits.
Well, here's interesting trivia for y'all, because I like these things. Most of the hair samples people turn in that they claim is Bigfoot hair is cow hair.
Interesting.
So, now,
there's a lot of cow fur balls floating around everywhere.
Now, I just need to get a double clarification here. So when you say a bear, are we talking about like the animal bear, or are we talking about a game man?
A black bear.
He's a gay man. That explains.
We're talking about a North American black bear.
Yeah, a bear on its hind legs can look like a big hairy person.
And for something we did in one of the shows that I didn't know, black bears do not hibernate, so you can run into them in the wintertime.
Wait, what?
So black bears do not hibernate like other bears.
They do not.
I did not fucking know that. Oh,
I didn't either. So our show is educational too.
And by the way, more and more these days, we see bears on their hind feet because they're trying to imitate us. So don't be surprised if you see a bear walking on his hind feet.
If you're in bear area, be aware of what you're doing. And if you can carry bear spray and Take all the proper precautions because, like
I'll
Trees said, bears don't kill you. Bears eat you. Okay?
Yeah.
They eat you while you're alive. They're not like big
Yeah, they
cats that
will.
grab you by the neck and take you down first. No, they just grab a hold of whatever, a foot, an arm, whatever, and they just start eating.
Non.
So, don't mess around.
Yeah.
With bear.
I agree.
Touche, Jer. Touche. There are black bears too. Yes, you're
So,
right.
question,
That is
Dave.
not a definition away from a gay man. You're correct.
So, Dave, did you used to watch the shows? I wish I could remember what channel they were on when it was really big. Like they had those 3 people that would go out and do squatch hunts and stuff like that.
I watch them all. I go back to the In Search of days with Leonard Nimoy.
Yes. Okay.
I read Chariots of the Gods. I still have the book. Our ancestors were aliens. Still have the book.
Bears
My kids say, Dad, why are you watching the show if all you're doing is yelling back at the TV? And I'm like, because you can't argue from ignorance. You got to know what they're saying.
Yes. Oh my God, Dave. I think I just became your biggest fan. You cannot argue from ignorance. What a great statement. You absolutely cannot.
I don't like being closed-minded just because I don't believe in things. There's a reason I don't believe in these things is because I've heard the stories, I've looked into it and everything, and I just don't believe the story. Now, people have all kinds of experiences, and I'm not doubting people have religious experiences. I'm not doubting people have experiences where they see people back from the dead because it's a known psychological phenomena that a certain amount of people grieve in a certain way that they see their loved ones after they have died.
It's about
Is it
30%.
a ghost? No, I think it's in their mind, but I don't doubt their experience. And you can go on and on down the list. I'm not doubting their experience. I'm just examining it maybe from a little different perspective than they might be looking at it themselves.
Yeah, that actually occurs with about 30% of people.
And it's
Donna,
actually
just
a
scroll
known,
up. You'll
sorry,
see the Captive Desk channel. It's listed above. Just scroll up.
I'm the only Captive Desk. Capital C, capital D. It'll come right up, and the Grassman is in the links on the bottom of my.
On that note, Dave, I have to say, like, given my history in healthcare, I've been in healthcare my entire adult life. But when people are on the verge of dying, and I'm talking about hospice stuff, they literally do see their loved ones. And it might be because they're in there. Maybe it's the morphine. Maybe it's all the drugs we give them. I don't know. But all I know is that many times with many, many different patients, I have had patients like sit up and say, I have to go. And I put them in a wheelchair and I walk them around the facility and they tell me, there's my mom. There's my dad. There's this. Okay, honey, do you see them? Do you see them? And within 8 to 10 hours, they're gone.
And a lot of them get very peaceful, right?
Yes.
And we're not talking about we're talking about people that are sound mind, very healthy. They just know when the time's coming and they get very peaceful. Yeah, I'm into that stuff and NDEs and astral projection. You name it, Dave likes all that kind of stuff.
I love that.
4 months. 4 months before my grandmother died, she looked at me and not upset or anything, just calm and honest and said, I'm ready for the Lord to come take me.
Yeah.
And she died 4 months later of a stroke. She was just done. She knew it.
Tsunami, I understand that you're saying they're hallucinating, and I do get that they probably are, but you can't put away the fact that they're hallucinating something that is familiar to them, because hallucinations are not usually totally familiar, as in there's my mom, there's my dad, there's my grandma. This is all familiar to me.
I think it's natural. I think it's natural if you're healthy and you're in your sound mind and everything. You're just very, very old, or maybe not very old. But when your time is coming, there's something that's going on in the brain that knows that the time is coming, and it triggers something. That's my opinion.
Yes, it is.
I remember watching an episode of the Atheist Experience and talking about, what do you call it? When you think you're at out of body experience kind of thing, and not out of body, but you go through a light and you see Jesus or whatever, like that. This person was an atheist, and she's a sci-fi nerd, and she went through the Stargate and met Klingons and stuff.
Yeah, I had a friend who had a near-death experience, and he experienced seeing different video games. He was
Because
big
it's what
into
is in
gaming.
it's what is in his mind and what's in his.
It's what he was thinking about at the time.
The near death experiences are nothing more than random memories and random of the brain that it can put together anything it wants in the times before you die, when it's beginning to fail. Okay. And everything that everybody experiences is your brain shutting down. And if they happen to bring you back to life, well, then that becomes a memory too.
And I will give you that.
It's all
I absolutely
BS.
give you
There's
that,
no out of body anything.
OBEs too, Sumami. I like all that stuff.
I will give you that, Jenny. Absolutely. But I will also have to I have to say that given my experience, I know that things that were gone, especially like in memory care patients, things that were gone for a long time, like they remember names, they remember things that happened, but they've been gone from their memory for a long time. And how do you explain the fact that when people are on hospice, they have a period, they will wake up one last time for gosh knows how many hours. Sometimes it's 2, maybe it's 1, maybe it's 8. And they recognize everyone that they have not recognized in months, and they say goodbye.
They become
and
lucid.
Then they're gone.
Well, my
They
dad didn't do
very
any
lucid.
of that. That dad didn't do any of that. He just never woke up, and so that's anecdotally, I'm sure something like that happens. But anecdotally, I'm sure. Please.
Sorry.
Oh, come on, you guys. Come on. Please stop talking over each other.
I'm sure that does indeed happen, and some people experience. And I'm not trying to take away from anybody's experience. And yeah, your brain did that thing, and yeah, you have that memory. Okay. Oh, great, fine, I love it. But the general public does not do that. I've worked in hospitals. I've seen lots of dead people, and they don't do that.
It's something that Pavlov came to explain, which is spontaneous reoccurrence.
It's basically an attempt for the brain to try and preserve itself of what causes the lucidity.
I think the thing that you have to understand, what I've learned, and it's not just my experience, it's not anybody else's experience, just mine as a caregiver, is that people who are on hospice, and I'm not talking about traumatic deaths at all. I'm talking about not short-term deaths. I'm talking about long-term hospice deaths. That they have that moment, they have that time where they are lucid again, and then they go. So maybe it has something to do with the whole hospice process. Maybe it has to do with the dying process, because traumatic death is totally different. It's totally different than the dying process of long-term dying process anyway. So
yeah, it basically has to do with the dying process, really.
And that makes sense. That makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, of course, people are going to see different things. It depends on, like Deb was saying, it depends on what they're thinking about. It's like if you go to sleep at night and you're thinking about, I really want to paint this room, and you're thinking about colors, and then you dream about painting the room. It's like that. Like, it's whatever's forefront in your mind.
Yeah.
If that's what you're thinking of, that's what you're going to dream about. Same thing.
No, and that's a really prime example of that. I would say would be my grandmother, because God bless her, but her whole life was her family. And the last thing she said to anyone was that she was on hospice, and she didn't recognize anybody at that point in time. She didn't know what was going on, but she said that she turned to my sister and said, Annie, which is my sister's name. She said, Annie, you have to go now because I have to make dinner for my husband. And she rolled over in bed and was gone like 20 minutes later. So it is it's something that happens. I think that that's the whole thing, though. It goes back to, I guess, the human brain, because the human brain is so unexplored. We never know what's going to happen with it, and Tsunami, you're right. Grandmothers, people get angry, and I'm so sorry that your grandmother's last words to you were that, because that's fucking horrible. I'm sorry that happened to you. But my grandmother's last words to me were, Debbie, remember. And then she just said the word February. And that's because we're February babies. We're the only 2 February people in our family at that point. So, there's there's different expressions and different things, and I'm sorry that your experience was bad. I really am, because that's not what needs to happen. I apologize. I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry for that.
I have,
Carrie, that makes me think about my sister was always stressed out, and she was always like holding her stomach like a protection thing, right?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like a natural thing she did. I don't think she even knew she did it, but she did it like all of our lives. And she died of stomach/intestinal cancer.
Jesus.
So I do wonder about, like, because people hold stress in different areas and
Oh,
hold all
absolutely.
that crap in different areas, and your mental health affects your physical health.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes, wondered with my sister how much the stress level she had of constantly in her life. She was in marketing, and she was like getting divorced and had 2 kids with this guy that beat her and all this shit she had to deal with, and sure enough, she gets intestinal cancer. Spent her whole life holding her fucking hand over her belly.
Oh,
So,
Carrie Ann.
just my thought.
Carrie Ann, that actually brings up a whole new topic, because it actually is, because like living a lie and having to like mental decline and age, you have to ask yourself, are they still living the lie, or did they go back to their truth because they forgot the lie? Because that's something that happens with dementia, is that they forget things that are happening. And when I say the recent future, I'm talking like 30 years, because my grandma went back a long way, and most people that I've dealt with in my profession have gone back a long ways. So I understand that completely. It's a very interesting question that you asked there.
Yeah, one of the things I remember, I know someone who their wife had Alzheimer's, and they had to buy like a special clock which like said the date as such, because she just couldn't understand what it meant, the having the dials and the hands going around, so she had to have a digital one because she could make sense of that. Had like the date written out as well, and then it came to a point where she couldn't understand what a clock was.
Yeah.
My grandfather died with dementia, and I remember one thing is you start really hallucinating a lot of stuff. Like one time he was like, "Do you see that boy out in the bay on the bicycle? Like, there's no one out there." Like, yeah, I didn't think he was real.
Not
Yeah,
fair.
and that's something that people actually say, experts say, is that when you're dealing with somebody who has dementia, do not argue their reality. Absolutely do not argue their reality. Whatever their reality is, just go with it, because it does you no good to argue the reality. Because if they're like, "Oh, why am I here? Where am I? I'm lost." Okay, why do you think you're lost? Let me show you this. You blend their reality, because arguing with their reality does you no good, because it makes you makes you activate the instinct where you're like digging in and saying, no, what I'm feeling is true, and what I think is true. You can't argue that reality with somebody who has Alzheimer's or dementia. You just go with it. They think it's 1976, that it's 1976. That's just straight up how it is.
Can I just sort of change to something a bit more comical?
Please.
So there was something in the local newspaper website today, and I thought it was hilarious. So it's cold here right now, and when I say cold, we've got some snow in Scotland and a few other places, which is pretty rare for the UK because we have generally mild weather. It's 36 degrees Fahrenheit today, which is very cold for Manchester. Anyway, so what we have is when we have like a storm coming in or something into the airports, and it might be flooding or whatever, then we have like a traffic light system, so red, yellow, green kind of thing. And I saw this today, and I got the giggles. It was this. I'm screen sharing, and it's just yellow snow. Just yellow snow.
Yellow snow.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. That's all I have to say about that.
Did they determine what was contaminating the snow?
Exactly. You know. Oh dear me.
It
So
was the peas of them angels, of course. That's what it was.
yeah,
So I have to say something here.
don't eat yellow snow cones. Just stay away.
So mommy says, I swear, after I got out of a seriously abusive relationship, processing the trauma from that and my childhood has given me a level of mental clarity I've never had before. Let me tell you something right now. I was on those fucking pills and I went crazy for months. But it also made me dig in deep on some serious fucking shit in my life. During that process, I figured out what my PTSD was actually from. When I came off those fucking pills, I have never been so fucking clear and aware in my life of me. Like, I know me so well right now. I will call out and tell people like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. That's what I do. Like, I just know. Also, that awareness kept me from losing my job on Friday when some dude got in my face. Almost triggered my PTSD. Well, started triggering it. I just
Do tell.
Very well. Long story, doesn't matter. He is a 30-ish year old, 28, who thinks he knows everything. And since he's going through therapy and he's so mature for going through therapy, he's going to tell me that, the problem might be you. I'm like, yeah, it's me, you asshole. I have PTSD and ASD and fucking ADD and I've got depression and anxiety. Fuck yeah, it's me. Fuck you. Try to tell me about myself. Fucking punk bitch. And I didn't say any of that. This is all in my head, right? And he goes, yeah, well, just because I'm young doesn't mean I've been around the block. I've been around it a bunch of times. And I was like, woo.
Blah,
Fuck
blah,
off. Like, you do
Yeah,
not
blah
know
blah.
me.
I
You
agree,
know
Dave.
jack
Blah blah.
fucking shit about life. Jack
Well, he
fucking
doesn't
shit
know
about
jack
life.
shit about you. He doesn't know jack shit about you,
Yeah,
Beck.
both.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I've been through some shit. Oh, really? Poor little
Haven't we
boy. How many
all?
times have you almost died? Did you serve in the military? Were you the one driving the car that killed your mother? Fuck you.
Oh, God.
Try to
Yeah.
tell me about shit.
Yeah.
Everybody is different in everything.
Yeah,
So anyways, I mumbled something
can't
about
know
him when he
somebody.
wasn't there, and his buddy was standing there, who is the guy I work with every day, who I've fucking had a great time working with for the past 5 fucking weeks. He ran behind my back and told him I fucking said it, even when I said at the end of it, it doesn't matter anyways, whoever did it. That didn't matter. That part didn't get conveyed. So then he comes at me, telling me, get my name out your mouth, dog. And I'm like, dog, bruh? Wow, that's really disrespectful.
It is. It is.
And at some point he said something, and I just went, oh, man, come back to me when you get closer to 40.
Young, dumb, and full of...
Yes.
You know what? I would have thought, being a trans man, you would be completely, like, you really wouldn't want to talk about bras at all.
That's funny. That's funny.
What did I
you
miss?
Said bra. Like,
bra.
Yeah.
It was a play on words.
It was. It's great.
Dog and bruh.
Beck.
Do you know something?
Like, bitch, I am twice your age. Fucking say sir, motherfucker.
Seinfeld did an
My
episode
child
with
is
the
older
bro.
than you. Suck my cock.
Oh, the man's ear. The man's ear. The
I'm
bro.
sorry. I went in the army before you were born.
That's right. We're old.
Yes, we are. We are.
Beck,
I
show some goddamn respect. I show everybody respect, especially my elders.
You know what?
I fucking show people that don't deserve it on a daily basis because I'm trying to be professional at work. So by God, you can fucking show respect. And learn how to speak some goddamn English. And this white boy needs to kind of quit trying to appropriate the fucking black culture. He came to work with his fucking braids in his hair, trying to act all. I'll try to act all G, listening
Pull up your
to rap
pants.
music with the N word in it. Oh, you're so fucking cool.
So proud
and
of
he
you.
Told
Beck.
me to grow. He told me to grow the fuck up.
I remember when I was
looked
young.
at him. Oh, he was really pissed then.
Do you know, it's quite funny because I remember when I was younger, like, when I was like 18, I thought I knew everything. And then I got a few years older and, I thought, well, I'm 25 now. I know better now. I was an idiot back then. I didn't know a thing. And then, when I sort of hit my 30s, I was like, you know what? I didn't know anything when I was 25. Now, I'm a lot better now. And now I'm nearly 50. It's like, I just know fucking everything.
Oh, we bring that
You
back.
know
What was that?
You just can't remember it all at once.
When I was
How are you, buddy?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Commander.
When I was in my early 30s, I had coworkers with gray hair telling them I reminded them of their parents. I was weird and they hated me, and that's because my coworkers were full of shit.
Wow, that's fucking deep,
Commander,
crazy
I
shit.
love you.
And
Commander's
and
great.
the old conservative white men were getting tattoos around the time Obama took office. They didn't have them for the first 40 or 50 years of their life. They were getting them after he took office. And I knew exactly why. So I basically harnessed my grandparents' wisdom and stuck it to them.
Nice.
That's why I miss them. I miss my grandparents so much. That was the greatest generation. And
Me too. Me too. Hey,
Do
you
you know
guys.
what?
My grandmother was a bitch, but she worked her ass off and made sure my mom survived. And my mom was born in 1942 during World War II. And my Nana went out on the docks, and she was one of the original Rosie the Riveters. So although she was a bitch, she had a really hard fucking life. So
Guys, I'm going to bail out because it is very cold in my she shed. I'm going to go in where it's warm. I love you guys much. Thank you for the
Love you
awesome
too.
conversation
Later.
as always. And I will see you later.
Bye bye.
Bye, Sith.
bye
Do you
bye.
know, I once
So,
insulted.
we're only going to for
Commander.
another 35 minutes. Yes,
I
Jenny,
th-
go right ahead.
I think you would feel different about this greatest generation if you had grown up under their tutelage and they beat the shit out of you every time they thought you were effeminate.
Yeah.
Children should be seen and not heard.
My grandfather, when they first moved down here, they still had the segregated stuff, blacks only, whites only kind of thing. And so he went to the laundromat, and all the whites only was all filled up. So he took him and his 5 kids at the time and into the black section. Was doing laundry. All the black people were like cheering and all the thing is great. He goes around back around into the white section, looks around, and goes, "Wash is just as good over here."
And I'm specifically talking about my greatest generation grandparents. And this was Jewish culture. So men were actually allowed to have feelings and emote. And it wasn't exactly like the average. It wasn't like they had to go out and beat their chests and prove how manly they were. If someone needed an ass kicking, you didn't show off your muscles. You just kicked their ass and then went back to being a human being. But I understand that not everyone's grandparents were like mine and stuff. I know the greatest generation had its issues.
No, I agree with Sue Mommy. There is no greatest generation, and this is why. Every single generation had different struggles. Now, some of them have overlapped, like women's rights, LGBTQ stuff, black. God knows we still have to fight this fucking battle of ignorance with who's black and who's not. Anyways, the black folks struggle, like all that. But there's different things that have been challenges, whether it's political shit or wars or whatever. And no two situations have been the same because life's not like that. There's always a nuance that's something different. So no two generations have ever experienced the same thing. So everybody always thinks they're in the best generation. And I like to say that because my generation was when like computers started, going everywhere. And then all of a sudden they started appearing in schools and then they started appearing in people's homes. Like, so that was a big thing for me to see. I watched us go from record to cassette to fucking CDs and Blu-ray. Like I watched all that, so I think it was a great time to grow up and be able to experience all this stuff as technology was growing. I still don't think it's the best fucking generation. I mean, come on. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was a good generation. We did some shit too. We did some good political shit too, But so did Jenny's generation. And so has, Mage's generation, and so will Kyle's generation. It's just that's what's happens. People step up, things change. Ideas and minds change, and lives are changed, whether it's through society or social media. And I'm so thankful for social media, hence right back to science, because if it wasn't for social media and it wasn't for the internet and all the stuff that these kids have access to, we'd still have a lot of ignorant fucking 16-year-olds walking around like we were. We were clueless. I lived out in the fucking woods away from everybody. It was just a bunch of white farmers. I didn't know shit. I didn't know shit until I was 12 and 10 years old and met my first black person like that I talked to. I had seen a family in church a few times. They moved there and then they fucking left because they were like, oh, oops, we moved to the wrong area. So I met someone and became friends with him, and he blew my fucking mind how fucking awesome of a person he was while being fucked up at the same time because he was black and his life was hell.
And you know what?
But watching all that happen, every generation has different things they've seen. There is no greatest generation. So yeah, Sumami, I agree with you 100.
Hey,
every generation blames the one before.
Pheck,
yeah.
I'm going to duck out. We're going to go have some dinner.
Okay, buddy.
It's good talking with y'all, and y'all have a
hey,
good
you
one.
too. Always fun.
Yeah, if you like Bigfoot and weird stuff or whatever, you get a hold of me.
I will. I have some videos about New Age aliens and some real batshit crazy stuff I found on the internet.
I love all that stuff. I follow L.A. Marzulli. If you don't know who he is, check out some of his stuff.
I found out about L.A. Marzulli.
Oh yeah, he is special. Oh boy.
I was delivering stuff to Geodis, picking up stuff, and the security guard was telling me about the aliens and that guy and the giants, and I was like, oh, I need to find this, and I pretended to be interested, but that's only because I wanted New Derp to make fun of.
Well, does everybody know who Sid Roth is?
Yes.
Okay, well, Sid Roth is way out there. Okay, when you can't get on any other, like what I would call a real TV show, okay, Sid Roth will have you on.
Supernatural.
Okay? Well, L.A. Marzulli let it slip that Sid Roth doesn't return his calls anymore. So L.A. Marzulli is too far out for Sid Roth. Okay, that's where he's branched off to. Okay.
Did you know that Jesus was a real time traveler and he'll be back to fix the election? That's what Sid Roth was going on about.
Yeah, well, LA takes it a step further. So yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
Captain Duff, can you put your contact information in the private chat again?
Yeah. You want what? You want my
like your email and stuff, so I can get a hold of you.
Email or you?
Or whatever you use for getting hold for the stuff.
Bigfoot rules dot something or other, right?
Email is easy. Yeah, it's allhailbigfoot@gmail.com.
Cool.
Here, I just did my Discord thing. I'll drop my Discord in the private.
All right, that'll work.
There you go.
Yes, Jenny, we can still hear you.
All right, so I'm out. Everybody have a great one, and I'll see you all around. Okay.
Bye.
All right, Mr. Desk.
With the penguins in bodysuits being scary, I think was the comment I saw. I thought you might appreciate this.
Oh, yes. This is Exo 1 power armor. You know what? Since that's the whole Christian thing with St. Peter, I don't give a shit. And as far as the Jewish stuff, it just reminds me of the people that I loved. If you want to know what I think about the idea of God, go read what Thomas Paine had to say on the subject in The Age of Reason. But yes, this is Exo One Power Armor, and we bring the pain to the flat earthers.
Yes, Dave, it's probably a damn good idea to make friends with river otters right now. Just in case, yes.
Always a good idea.
Oh, something
Anyways.
Tsunami earlier about because we were talking about bears and things. She said something about sort of food outside the tent when camping, and well, the thing is, the one you really have to worry about is the one that likes picnic baskets.
Yogi?
Those are dangerous
Bear.
ones.
Yes.
Hey,
Those are the
boo-boo.
dangerous bears.
Let us get some picnic baskets.
Look, Carrie says, otters are our friends. And Majestic Beebeck says, otters are badass. They are really cool.
Otters are really tasty.
Anjur said they're adorable psychopaths.
Let me crack open your skull with my rock on my tummy.
Well, they gotta
Adorable
eat.
psychopaths, yeah.
Do you know there's one animal, everybody loves this animal except for old MacDonald, and that's the giraffe. Did you get that joke at all?
No.
Well,
Say that one more time.
Old MacDonald had a cow. What noise does the cow make with a moo moo here and a moo moo there, that kind of thing. Well, it's like old MacDonald had a giraffe with a what giraffes make? I mean, I actually do know they make like a kind of mooish noise, but it's kind of like it's just a
right,
like you're not really sure about what noise does a giraffe make. Here's the fun fact for you. So cows, and it's like, what noise do they make? And we go moo.
Well,
Dutch cows in Dutch, they go boo. My friend, I got a friend who's Dutch, and she's like, our cows, they go boo. That's with a boo boo here and a boo boo there. I mean that's the way their song goes for them. You see, so it's like cows go boo. Dutch cows go boo, especially the one that's hiding behind the hedge. I love language in that regard. That like just these little things.
The more words you know in the different languages, the more you can see that even though you have a different language, they are ever distantly related. Especially English.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say I studied Japanese, and I learned the English language as I did the Japanese language. If in English I said, it's a red big box. Well, yeah, I mean, grammatically, that's kind of, it makes sense in terms of words, but it's not. It's a big red box. You say it in big red box. That's the way that you say it. And we take these things for granted. With Japanese, it could be, a box big red. And it doesn't matter which way you say it, because all you're saying is the characteristics of that box.
And Hebrew and Arabic is Yoda speak. The grammar is Yoda speak.
Really?
Oh, and like you have countries like Ukraine. Have you ever heard of Harom Slava? Now let's dissect that. Haro is where we get the word hero, and that's what it means. And im at the end, and my friend, in Virginia, his dad was a college professor and an archaeologist at Credit University. He studied most of the stuff that he was famous for was like the Holy Land archaeological digs, but his most work in academia was Eastern Europe, Middle-aged Jewish stuff that no one cared about but other but he would talk about the Slavic countries and like Ukraine and Poland, and he'd go on about the language, how they don't know whether or not he actually used the word heroim. He didn't at the eam at the end. The people who do the language, they don't know whether it came from Hebrew or Arabic. And that's because the different cultures mixed very well when the king of Poland said, come on over here, we're not going to kill you. And then the cultures mixed for centuries. But there's German in English, there's Greek in English, and English is a hodgepodge of a whole shat load of languages.
English
Yeah.
is 75%
but
Latin in
closest-
origin. The remaining 25% is made up between French, German, Italian, Spanish, some South Pacific, and almost every other continent you can get. But the vast majority is Latin derivative.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jenny. I was just about to say
it's
that.
for English as in England. The language has sort of evolved. So yeah, effectively, what happens is, you had a bit of Norwegian, with the Vikings and things like that, and you had Latin stuff from the Roman Empire. But then what happened was you kind of had like the Celts, and then the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes came over from sort of Germany and Denmark and that kind of part of the world, and they kind of shoved the Celts into the crappy hilly land, which wasn't very easy to farm. So that's why you've got Scottish and Welsh and Cornish. And then what happens is 1066, the Normans come and conquer, and you ended up with two cultures effectively. The aristocracy and the courts and all that kind of stuff was like a form of French. And then Anglo-Saxon was like the normal, the serfs and, the normal people, the average everyday people, farmers and so on. And then what happened was Normandy was conquered, and suddenly the colony, the Norman colonists, it wasn't a colony anymore, it was home. And that's when they started to intermarry, and that's how the language joined together. If you listen to French enough, you'll hear words that sound like they're English. It's not. It's just that they've got root languages, root words.
I know something that will wake Jenny up.
Quit snoring on stream.
I know something that will wake Jenny up. Do you know where we get the word fuck from? The word
Well,
pluck.
I remember that Chaucer used to
Because
mention it here and there.
the longbowmen would use their middle finger to draw back the bow. So that's why sticking your middle finger up when it was originally a thing, a new thing, was basically, dude, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to pluck you. And then it morphed into Q.
Fuck you instead. Huh.
Now that woke you up, that's fun. It's about cursing.
I like to say it like PHUK, fuck. Yeah, I know.
I remember a few years ago, I heard there were some Asian guys having a massive row, and they were like screaming at each other in Urdu, except for the swear words that were English. I just found that really funny.
And Jetmonk, the drunk monkey, brings cursing and profanity to an art form.
He really does. It's amazing. But I think it only sounds that good because of his accent. I think if he had a plain old like Midwest accent, nobody would think it was that funny. His accent really just, how he says it with the accent just tweaks it. It's beautiful. Yes, also thumb nose off the tip of your teeth. Thumbnail. That's another. Ooh, I can't believe I did that for real. Oh, it's like fingernails on the chalkboard. Oh, that hurt. Oh. Anyways, Asians and Indians love English swear words. I know that. I know that of Asians. I didn't know Indians love them.
Our Japanese, they're not very keen on swear words, so the worst they do is call you really, really stupid.
Yeah, but in Asia, being stupid is one of the biggest insults you can give somebody.
Yeah, I remember
they're dishonored.
Yeah, I remember another amusing little one. Again, this is more of a cultural thing rather than a language thing. So during the Vietnam War, there was a South Vietnamese politician, and he wasn't. He basically the American government didn't like him. He wasn't playing the or singing the American tune.
Right.
And so they wanted to get rid of him. So they decided to discredit him. And of course, we think about this today, and this wouldn't work today, unfortunately. But so what happened was they sort of put out the CIA told a bunch of lies about him as if he was a womanizer and sleeping with like 3 women or something. And, to Americans, it's like, oh my God, there's a reputation. This guy's been sleeping around, American politician. They end up resigning from embarrassment, even though it's not true, because there's that honor sort of thing. Of course, not anymore. And so, but of course, in Vietnam, it didn't work at all. It backfired because it became more popular. What, you getting women on the side? Well done, you, kind of. So it completely backfired on them. And like I say, now,
like
you're looking to have, what was it, a 3 times divorced orange man, who lies all the time.
Already been shown that he committed sexual assault at least one time for sure.
For
That's
crying
just
out
one time that's been
loud,
proven.
I have a video on my channel playing Dancing in the Rain while he talks about golden showers, and it doesn't do a goddamn thing to anyone who likes him.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, when it was all that grabbing by the pussy thing, it's like, that's not a scandal. Because that's just the way Donald Trump is. The guy's an arsehole. You can't
it wasn't
get
even that. It was he's a guy. That's what guys do. Which is
just
really asinine.
Yeah, it's one of those. Oh, he's just one of those assholes that's like that. There's like, yeah, water is wet. Donald Trump's a sexist pig. I mean,
yeah,
we already know these things. That's not.
I don't understand why there's fucking women at his rallies. I'm sorry, I ran right over you, Jenny. Go ahead. Jenny.
I think it might have been Commander.
No, that was Jenny.
Oh, Jenny.
I've got nothing to say.
Damn it. Quit doing that. I didn't mean to run over you. We just started talking about it at the same time. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but like I say, that's just Donald Trump. So it's, it's a non-event thing. We've got the same thing. We've had the same thing in Britain with Boris Johnson. It's like the guy lied about lying, and he got away with it. And yet if it was someone from another party or something, then, it would have been disastrous for them. But for him, it's just like, he just comes out with a load of bullshit sometimes.
He actually said the truth for the first time in his life. He accidentally said that they were trying to destroy American democracy. And it was the first time he has ever spoke the truth. Oops. Oh, no. Oops. I'm not in mental decline. Now I'm just speaking the truth by accident.
He is a royal piece of shit.
Oh my God.
And if he was
royal.
a Democrat,
he's just a piece of shit. He's about to have absolutely fucking nothing. He's about to have nothing.
And it couldn't happen to a worse piece of shit. And if he was a Democrat and you changed nothing else about his behavior or what he accomplished, all the Charlie churches would call him the Antichrist. The first YouTube channel I was ever involved with was devoted to proving that shithole was the Antichrist. And they didn't even know I wasn't a Christian. But I was so interested in trying to bash that shithead. I could probably point, if you gave me enough time, I could point to 60 points on which he matched, especially before 2020.
Well, I have got a bit of Bible verse for you. It's Proverbs 6:16 to 19. Okay, there are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 things that are detestable.
And it all starts Donald Trump.
Yeah, haughty eyes, a lying tongues, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush to evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community.
Yep, Donald Trump.
Yeah. You know, it's, you know, and yet they'll, you know, he's a Republican, so therefore he must be, you know, the Bible believer who holds the Bible upside down after getting the police to shove the Black Lives Matter protesters out of the way, you know.
And the word Daniel used to describe the little horn in the book of Daniel in the Christian tradition, that character is the Antichrist. In the original Hebrew was Karen. It's the word we get carotene from, the substance horns are made out of.
Bye, Jenny.
And with that, we will stop with the Bible shit. But I had to mention Karen. Yep, literally Karen. The only thing the Bible got right was to declare Karen will be a villain. Only 100% true thing it said. Proven.
It's really uncomfortable with my friend because I got a friend who's called Karen. And, you know, it's like, you know, she's been using it along. Yeah, she'd been using it for years, and now all of a sudden it's got a weird connotation, you know.
Well, Karen by behavior, let's put it that way, because if you're named Karen and you're not behaving like the internet Karen, it does
but we
not
say
apply
Karen,
to you.
we mean somebody who's being a fucking privileged asshole. That's a Karen in the U.S. And it doesn't matter what color or sex they are, they're a Karen, even if they're just a male Karen. It doesn't matter.
And Karen is a masculine word in Hebrew. It means purity, light, corner, and horn. So it became a little girl's name because non-Jews did not know Hebrew was a gendered language. So the feminine version is Karna, which sounds a lot like Corona, but not quite.
Karna. It's almost like carne, which is, you know, like red meat in. Hispanic. Yeah, I'm tired. Okay, so Mage, do you have anything to shill?
I'm gonna go over to my gardening channel, Gardens Happen. And check that out. I probably will be releasing a garden tour pretty soon whenever I can get the energy together.
Cool.
I got the Purple's little thing going. How's her car thing going? Let's take a look at that while we're at it. Okay, we're up to 1,167 out of 5,000 that she needs. I'll put the link in the
thank you, Mage. Yeah, if anybody can help, please donate, because Purple is $3,300 and change shy of being able to fix her van, and her van is how she gets Sloth Girl to cancer treatments and gets stuff from the store for them. And they live in fucking cold ass goddamn weather. So walking is not an option. They do not live in Florida or anything. Thank you for that, Mage. Also, Wednesdays, midday Mid-America with on Purple Rhymes Orange channel, and Mage is always there. So everybody go check that out.
And sometimes I run it.
Don't forget
usually it's Mage and Jenny running it because Purple's taking Sloth Girl to a cancer treatment because they do that on Wednesdays. Commander, what do you have coming?
As far as what I'm doing, you will know in a few days either way, but specifically for my own safety, I'm not going to disclose it right now, but it's big. Beck knows. I messaged, and certain people do know.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll just have to watch for it. Laura, what are you up to?
Not a thing. I came on for a chin wag and a bit of a laugh, and you know.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm glad you came. Remember, everybody, at 9:30 at 9:30 Eastern in 37 minutes, Maya will be going live on Bad Science Sunday. The link should be pinned at the top. I pinned it earlier. Everybody click on that, go get your drinks, take a shit, drop the kids off the pool, whatever you want to call it, grab a fresh drink, and go over there and give Maya some love. And Laura, you look like you're about to say something. Should I wait?
No.
Okay.
I was waiting right to the tip where I was going to go. Because that's the thing that I come up with.
You'll know. You just have to get used to my tagline. So everybody out there, thank you for coming by. Thank you for showing love to each other. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another. Have some peace in your life. All right, you crazy people. You stay cool. Keep it real. Keep an eye out for each other. Suck in that content you love. Dance like nobody's watching. Go after your passions and enjoy them. I'm out. Peace.